You've always felt it. That spark. That pull. Watching the greats carve through history. Every turn, risk, reward. Now you don't just watch. You step inside. You take the wheel. Together, we're breaking barriers between sim and sport. Setting a new standard for performance. So with the power in your palms, the roar in your ears, and the position of a pro, let's turn dream to drive and play to podium. Our legacy, now yours. Welcome to the grid.
Hi, I'm Jada Jada. I currently race GT3 in Australia. It's a cool brand. The socks and the gloves are quite cool, and it's good to use on the sim. High quality materials, and most importantly, comfortable. Quite cool to feel all the bits doing their job, and it was good.
As we rise over the Ardennes forest, we are here in Spa, Belgium. Only a couple short weeks ago, we were sprint racing from Road Atlanta. With that in the rearview mirror and all opportunity for rain to fall from the skies on that occasion, boy did it shake things up. The problem is, it's back, and we're back to Spa-Francorchamps. 7 kilometers of challenging racetrack. If you make that call of when it flips over to wet weather incorrectly, you have got to turmoil around on cold tires. You have got to splish and splash your way all the way to the other side of the racetrack. 7 kilometers of challenge, 7 kilometers of tribulation, and don't forget 2 of the most famous corners in racing internationally. We've been running here for a number of years inside of the sim, and Sandman, this is Spa. This is not a resort, this is not a vacation. This is a racetrack that's going to challenge these guys like no other.
Mate, you are not wrong. Good evening, Scotty, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're watching around Australia, or in fact around the world. Spa, one of the best racetracks in the world. And when we talk weather, it's almost synonymous, isn't it, with Spa? You think Formula One and, they get halfway around the track, they know the rain's coming, but they've stayed out, they're on slicks, and all of a sudden the back half of the racetrack starts raining and they're slipping around. May we see some of that tonight? Radar looks that way, doesn't it? And we thought we had our fair share of rain last week, so should be an absolute ripper, shouldn't it, Scotty?
It's going to be a challenge. It's certainly going to be something, and these teams will have been preparing for it. The weather forecast for the last 2 weeks, I checked it immediately following Road Atlanta, and it was looking like it was going to be wet just about straight away. The big thing in terms of the calendar for this year as well, we're already into round number 3 of 12, but the big thing is that we've only got one more race after tonight before we get into that endurance calendar. 2026, endurance racing in the middle of winter. It's cold outside, keep them inside and in the sim rig, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of action, didn't we see our fair share last week, mate? It's this round is going to be exciting enough when we talk about Spa, but what we saw last week, it was almost a bit of the rivalry thing that we sort of started to see. We didn't know if it was weather conditions or if it was good hard driving. It was a little bit of everything, wasn't it? Jared Filsell, Zach Rattray-White, and in a few moments you're going to see action from Jake Burton and Sam Blacklock too. They really went at it last week, and mate, don't we get excited when we start thinking about these rivalries, Scotty, because it really spices things up and exactly about the way racing's going to go, because it's certainly different when there's two drivers that have had a little bit of a history. It almost gets a little bit spicy, doesn't it?
Well, that's the best part about food, is adding a little bit of paprika, a little bit of cumin into the mix. Let's get some Mexican spice in there, which is where we're off to for our next race, by the way. So you've just seen Zach Rattray-White going toe-to-toe with Jared Filsell. This is Sam Blacklock that's going to come a cropper with Jake Burton here in a few moments. Burton ended his race at the end of this little bit of contact right here. Terrible run off of turn 5. There was a hole there, and then there wasn't the last possible. But that's not the first time on that night that those guys had contact. That was the last time.
Yeah, and got real spicy, didn't it? And we actually thought it was probably going to bring out a safety car, which would have flipped that race on its head a little bit too. So I'm glad we didn't get that safety car. We were able to get the incident cleared up, and the guys drove away with it. The cars weren't in the best shape, but boy, oh boy, the action was thick and fast, and I think we'll see much of that tonight. Probably. Isn't it funny too that when drivers have these little bit of rivalries, it's funny how sometimes they always end up qualifying near each other. So that'll be interesting to see where all these guys qualify, because, there's a chance that Filsell and Zach Rattray-White will be up there again. And Burton and Blacklock, there's a good chance that they may be qualifying near each other as well. So qualifying's not too far away, so we'll be able to check that out too. Now, before we wrap... Oh, yeah, sorry, go, Scotty.
I was going to say turn 6 and 7 back at Road Atlanta. 6 is not normally an overtaking opportunity. There was this dive bomb basically after that call for a safety car. It didn't just cost one of these two guys track position, it cost both of them, and in a big way. Series leader at the moment, by the way, car 201, Andrew Gilliam. Now, it is a Lobs car, but it's not the one we were expecting. But elbows out, you cost both of yourselves track position and points on the night, and that's the big ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. And, mate, isn't that a bit of a surprise too? Because I think we all think Jared Filsell will probably be leading the championship. But like you said, it's a Lobs car, and we're not all too surprised. So it's going to get spicy, and I can't wait. So before we get to track action, we know the cars are on track. We're just going to have a quick shout out to our very own Josh Anderson, who's racing in our series. He's obviously taking part in the Australian Mustang Cup over the weekend at Tailem Bend. And not only did he have tricky conditions, as we can see, he took his Mustang right up against Jack Perkins, took out the win in race 1 and a commanding race 2. And not only that, a couple of wins in his pocket for this series. He's also leading the championship now. So a huge shout out to Josh. And we're going to see him throughout tonight's broadcast. It's cool that we've got that race to reality. We've got sim racers who take part in on-track action. And Josh really showing how it's done in the brand new Mustang Cup.
I think that was really, really cool. Calendar, and we talked about this already. Tonight, May 13th. Let's have a think about how long now, 6 weeks away, Phillip Island is going to kick us off with a 500k race. That's what that orange triangle stands for on the standings. But Spa-Francorchamps tonight, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, that is Mexico City for all you Formula One fans out there as well. Phillip Island, Sandown, Mount Panorama, right in the crux of the year. Unfortunately, football fans, you're going to have to skip that because you'll be sitting right here and watching some motor racing right through the middle of winter. That's okay. I'm not a football fan. I'm a cricket fan, so this actually frees me up, which is what I like about it. But then we're off to Shell V-Power Motorsports Park. Another sprint race from Winton returns to the calendar all the way in September. St. Petersburg. St. Pete's actually been a great track already on the sim. The racing from it looks phenomenal. We still have a TBA there that we'll be looking at another sprint round as well, and then Adelaide to finish us off is what the calendar is looking like. Now, there is a band of rain that is crossing the server at the moment. Has not yet hit the track. So those grey clouds that you're looking at are looming, and that is the big one that we're going to be looking at and talking about. And I thought it was going to be constant rain. It's not looking like that. We're going to have a band shift through here, but we are 6 minutes away from jumping into qualifying, and that is going to hit in the middle of qualifying. And the big thing that means, Sandman, is you've got to be on a lap at the right point in time. The track speed is going to come and go through that qualifying session. This is going to be a gamble.
Yeah, absolutely. This, like I said in the opener with this racetrack, it's highly likely that you might be on slicks in one part of the racetrack, and then you need to be on the wets for another part. So it's going to get very juicy.
big thing in the point standings. We already mentioned Andrew Gilliam's at the pointy end of things, and he's also had a positive round from Taylor Ben, by the way. Was crew chiefing Jaden Ojeda to his victory in the races and pole position whilst they're over there as well. So he is putting things all together in 2026, both sim and real world. But it's the chasing pack. 20 points is the leading margin at the moment. Robbie Gibbs had a torrid time last year, just went, nope, I'm going to throw in the towel, going to take a break. That's worked for him. It's been a long, long time since we've seen guys go, nope, I'm taking a break, I'm walking away, and it tends to go against them. Not so in 2026 for Robbie Gibbs really finding himself. The big key, Ryan O'Sullivan. He struggled a little bit in the qualifying series, just wasn't quite able to crack it and get that free slot in, but now he's found speed, and boy, speed in spades as well. Third in the championship. How about that one? Phil Sell and James Scott, a single point apart. They were teammates and they were separated at this racetrack in 2024 by 2 10,000ths of a second at the end of qualifying. Oh, and the rain's just started from the southwest corner of the racetrack, by the way. I was just watching a few cars. It is raining right now.
Yeah, we're a little bit spoiled, aren't we? We had rain last round and now rain again this one. I'm stoked for this one. Here it is, this Spa-Francorchamps. What an amazing racetrack. So much history, so many great corners, and the undulation of this racetrack, it is really something special, isn't it, Scotty?
It absolutely is. 19 corners in this one. 3 of the most famous in racing anywhere across the planet. There is 2 variations on this one that aren't pit lane variations. You do have the super long pit lane. We're using the GP Sprint pit lane. Comes off of the bus stop chicane, just pops back up just past the La Source hairpin. There's a slight edit in turn 9 for a MotoGP layout. We are using the GP Grand Prix layout here, which means it is exactly the same one you're used to from Formula 1 and years gone by. Fuel limits tonight. 100% full tank of petrol is available to our drivers. 72 kilometres an hour, the transition through the pit lane. Why is those stats important? You can get home, Sam, from lap 7. Lots of strategy variations. 2 pit stops required for tyres at the very least.
Yeah, and you don't want to be, as we can see the pictures on screen now, that rain's starting to fall. So that's going to be the biggest factor, is that people will be keeping an eye on the skies because, yeah, all right, you can make it from lap 7, but what if you need to put on a different set of tyres? So it's going to get very, very interesting, and, you know, having those 2 pit stops really makes it a little bit juicy, but they'll have to be keeping an eye on the skies, that's for sure.
Well, the big thing that we're going to be looking for is where those puddles fall on the curbs. Here we have the previous winners in this series. It's been on the calendar throughout every single year, and it's probably been the race with the most consistent drama, maybe except Sebring. That one's been pretty consistent in the way that it's brought us things. But we've had post-race changes to the race winner. Jared Filsell in 2023 crossed the line as the race winner, got that result overturned with a post-race penalty. That is the only thing preventing him from having dominance here. But this place and penalties go hand in hand. Are we going to get more of that tonight? Well, if the heavens open, are we going to be fighting the stewards or the drips and drops on the windscreen?
Little from column A, little from column B.
Righto, ladies and gents, get excited, get yourselves together, get your brollies up. It's probably the biggest thing if you're sitting in the stands, and this one is big for practice session. Currently, Zach Rattray-White is leading the way, albeit I think the track has just improved slightly at the moment. He's out there doing laps. You can see Robbie Gibbs is in pit lane on that timing tower. A lot of drivers have elected to walk away, take their pre-race little break, settle themselves down before we get into that qualifying session. But at the moment, have a look at that top 10. Is this the return of form that Trans-Tasman Racing were looking for? They've always been strong here in the past.
Yeah, it's that might have been something that we touched on maybe in the, especially the start of this season, is that's a little bit weird that sort of Trans-Tasman that were so dominant in years past have sort of, we feel like they've slipped off the radar a little bit. But like you said, it could be a change of the guard. Let's see. But how's this camera effect? This is brilliant because you can see the rain just falling on the screen. A couple of corners before, it wasn't raining. There was no drops, and then you get to this part of the racetrack, and there's actually water falling on the screen there. So very tricky conditions.
The most southwestern part, and the weather's coming from it, is this corner right here, by the way. So if you're looking for it at any point in time, so that's turn 14 is what we're looking for the southwesternmost point of the circuit. Curva Port Frere is the next one just after it, and then this run up to Blanchimont. So Blanchimont is likely to be one of the most wet places on the racetrack. However, the benefit is there's tons of real estate, obviously, to step slightly wide. The other thing is Eau Rouge Raidillon is going to be the last place to cop that rain as well. So there's a couple of really important things. Just with the way the sim is at the moment, the weather and where that rain comes from doesn't swing around a bit. It's pretty consistent. It'll always come from the same direction. So for guys watching along at home going, how are you guys confident on that? The wind could do anything? Not quite. Not quite. There's a caveat in that one at the moment. That's just limitations we've got. Right. 35 seconds left in this session. But if you're Zach Rattray-White, you are sitting there with two handfuls of confidence right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, I touched on in the opener that, Zach Rattray-White and Jared Filsell, they, had their interesting coming together. And look at them, first and third on the timing sheet. So, mate, it could make things very, very interesting come quali. But, here we go. We're not too far away. And they've just got their eye in enough where they can understand what the conditions are like. But they will change slightly as we go qualifying.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, qualifying from Spa is going to be popping up here in just a few minutes. What has this one got on offer for us? What has it got on offer for all of the fans that are sitting around watching at home? What has the circulating weather got in the background? Final results from the practice session now popping through. And this is going to be a session of right place, right time. And the big thing, Sam, and normally you only get half a lap out of these tires. Around here, you don't get a full lap out of the biggest swing of value on the tires. Do you take a risk and throw a little bit more fuel in the tank just to give yourself an extra lap of being on the track at the right time? If you get 3/4 of the way through the lap and the time starts coming to you and you haven't got fuel in the tank, you are going to be kicking yourself.
Yeah, it's catch-22, isn't it? And that's where, these teams will have some sort of idea, a little bit of a plate. But you can see on track now at the moment, look how wet it is here. If it was sort of dry and, the rain was coming, you'd probably go out on a light tank and just try and belt one out before the rain falls. But the conditions that they've got at the moment, it's already wet.
Yeah, and the big thing is, most of the field out on a dry tyre. I see Brad Newman is on a wet. Rain Campbell, Jake Burton, Brady Myers, Luke Rosella Boella, Andrew Gilliam.
No grip.
Look at how difficult it is to pull it up. These guys have picked wrong, and they've got 5Ks to go. They can't get off this tyre for another 5K.
Yeah, if they're on slicks, and they are, it's as soon as you start to see the kick up from the back of the cars and that spray, you know it's time for wets. So they've taken that gamble, and unfortunately they're going to head straight back to the lane and have to put on some wets.
But the thing, Sandman, is this is the lightest section of rain. At the moment, we're in a light blue patch on the forecast. This is the best track conditions we're going to have all session. So if you've picked the wrong tyre, you are probably starting in the back half of the field. Look at that band of green. We're not getting through that before the end of qualifying. Wet tyre was the right call. Philippa Bokita's on a dry tyre at the moment, getting boxed in by a whole bunch of wet shod cars. Look at them all. Normally, they're crawling around looking for a little bit of track position. You have to race around this outlap because the conditions are good and they're getting worse.
Yeah, well, they're at the point where they're crawling because they've got no grip. It's not about tyre prep or anything else. The conditions aren't right for a slick tyre. They all need to be on the wets.
That was James Scott. James Scott just got picked off. This is Bokita as well. Also, there's an Orbit drop air car off the circuit. So that would be another dry tyre. But I tell you, it's basically a 50-50 split of the field. This lap won't count. That was Blacklock. That was damage on the front end of his car as well.
Yep, absolutely. So thankfully, he's going to have to go back to the pits to change tyres. So he'll be able to get that damage. But you can see just on that right front guard. So whether he's got into someone or he's had a little moment, whatever the case may be, the conditions have caught him out and he's got that little bit of damage. Look at him, he can barely turn. Just the understeer that he's got. So a lot of the field are going to be straight back to the lane.
And the tricky thing we're hearing is he might have just done it on his own. So we'll probably get a replay coming our way. Tom Freer in the background. This is going to be, I reckon, the most interesting qualifying session of the season because it's the only time that we've seen in qualifying so far changeable conditions. And it's going to be all this first lap. So this is...
Look how slow he was going.
Rivage. That's the exit. Bruxelles. Sorry, my apologies. Bruxelles into the turn with no name. Will be the next left-hand there. There's Gilliam. That's wets. So anyone who's continuing on here, wet tyres.
Anyone would think he was a crew chief, eh? He knows what he's doing.
He's had practice over the weekend, as is Josh Anderson, in that graphic you've seen. Well, you got to remember as well that the critical thing about that was that he ran down Jack Perkins for Ando. How good is that to stick in the back of your book?
And he didn't do it just, once either. Like he got to the back of him and then fell back a bit and then got back to him again. And then that move at the end was just brilliant. And in those conditions, absolutely, just right on the edge. Maybe that'll give him some good prep for tonight with the rain.
Mate, I was watching that race, by the way, in a car on the way through Coffs Harbour. On the way to Port Macquarie for a little bit of a weekend away. And my partner, when I said exactly who was behind the steering wheel, she said, no, I'm listening in as well. So she's a bit of a Josh Anderson fan. At the moment, Gilliam's the leader in the train. And the hard part about this is he is the guy that's exploring the conditions for everybody else around him. And it's getting worse. Just look at the wheel work. Emily Jones is the next car behind. Is it worthwhile going for a ride on board with Emily?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I didn't know who it was, but you just said it was Emily, that she's actually making ground on Gilliam. So whether she's just a little bit more comfortable with these conditions or what, but it looks like she is closing up a little bit there on Gilliam. So, but this is just it. It's just a feel. You've got to get a feel for the conditions at the moment. And, like you said, you try and pounce when the track's at its best. And if it's going to get heavier, this obviously right now is probably maybe the best way the conditions are.
She's massively quicker at the first sector, but lining up those rear tyres in the middle sector. And that just, again, you can see visibly, listen to the race cars. The throttle level compared to the outlap and now has dimmed. There is not the ability to stand on the loud pedal as much as they could on the way around to start this lap. But it's only going to get worse from here. Put the lap together. Don't take it off track. Don't make a mistake. Because ultimately, this is going to be the best lap that you're probably going to get in for the next 15 minutes. A touch of the painted surface on the tip in at Blanchimont. I can tell you Jake Burton's just run wide at Blanchimont. I think Josh Horton had to bail out of a lap. There are so many cars attempting to still crawl their way through the field at this point in time. Final chicane, touch curb, don't touch curb, don't pinch a brake, get it to the start-finish line. Could Emily Jones have stuck this all together at the right time? Is this going to be pole position? Gilliam will start. He's the first cab off the rank. Jones is quicker. Less than 2/10 in it. Less than 2/10. Betes is there now. He'll go into the 39s.
Yeah, these times are going to tumble a little bit because everyone's obviously on finishing their lap. But you could visually see that Emily was just that little bit quicker than Gilliam, and it showed on the timesheets. Quicker than Phil Cell. So Phil Cell in third. So Bettis is still holding on for the moment. Yusuf into 12.
For the lap. Remember, these guys prep normally for a one-lap qualifying. So you wouldn't have thrown the fuel in. You wouldn't have been preparing for that. So who's remembered?
Well, also what you benefit too is that keeping that temperature in the tyre too. So a brand new wet isn't as, doesn't react as like what a brand new slick does. It doesn't fall off as quick as what a brand new slick does. So you can afford to go for a couple of laps. Brenton's just going to abort this one and head straight back in.
Put fuel in, yeah. So that's only one lap on that tyre. Jake Burton manages to slide into sixth at this point in time. But Ryan Betes, how about that for who's sitting at the top of the timing charts?
Love it.
One Performance Racing will be sitting there and loving every single moment of it at the moment. Burton's crawling all over the road. And by the way, it's a long lap. We talked about 7 kilometres. In green flag running, it's somewhere around an 18 to 23. I think it's about a 23 to Gen 3. Burton's all over the curb. We've lost about 16 seconds in terms of peak lap pace. So that just takes even more time out of qualifying because you've got to do, that's 30 seconds less to get a lap in qualifying.
Ryan Campbell's sector 1 split in the green. You're always chasing that, so that he'll be praying that he can bring this lap home. But it's just going to be changing conditions. We've still got 12 minutes left in this session. Keeping that temperature in the tyre, that's huge. Sorry.
26 laps in the book out of 45, I think, possibly. Yeah, it'll be 45 drivers. So less than half the field have set a lap. And we're already 8 minutes into this session.
I know it's so different when you're driving and when you're in the seat, you feel that control. But when you're watching from the outside and you see them put a tyre up on a ripple strip or on the painted section, you're like, oh, don't do that. But they've obviously got a way better feel than what we have just sitting here in the commentary box. So Burt just pushing on with this lap.
Just having a little bit of a think in the back of my mind as well. Who was strong last year at Sandown? I think it was Hayden Veld. Gilliam's going to find a little bit more time, improve. But look at the field spread. A second from Brian Bettes to Wayne Burke in 7th. That's normally the covering of the entirety of the field. Lap 2, a little bit of an improvement for Phil Seller. He will be very, very happy about that one, and we have some footage from Luke Rosella as well to come our way prior to us getting into the race as well.
He's got margin on the field too, so he's got half a second in his sleeve at the moment. So behind Gartner on screen, just trying to get through the last part of the track. Gets the power down. That's the trickiest bit. Even in the dry conditions, just trying to get your foot down and get the power to the ground, and then throw in the conditions that they've got to deal with as well. Only good for 21st at the moment.
Now, Hayden Veld, remember, was very, very quick at Sandown last year in changeable conditions. Right up at the pointy end of the field, couple mistakes. Things didn't quite go his way. No lap yet in the session, and we are nearly halfway through already. So he's already losing opportunities to get that one together. And I can tell you that Hayden Veld is going to bin his next lap as well. So it's going to be another 2 minutes before he'll even get a time on the board. And this could come down to just any time. Any time on the board might be relevant at this point. 30 out of 45, so 2/3 of the field have now set a valid lap time. Robbie Gibbs will be adding his name to that list. 27, no speed in that car. But 4 seconds. 4 seconds off the pace.
Yeah. And speaking off the pace, James Scott back in 29th position at the moment. But this is, you know, people will be finding some time. They might have started a lap and then sort of maybe aborted halfway. They had a bad couple of corners and decided to get out of it, because 4 seconds is a big margin off. So there's a car off in the dirt too back there. But look at that rain radar. So what are we? We're still halfway through. There's still some dark patches to come through.
Yeah, so it's still just going to keep getting increasing from here. So I think the best of the track is gone, which means those 39s will be very, very good. Half a second in pole position. That is going to be the biggest pole position margin in series history.
Well, it's not over yet. Still 9 minutes to go, but you're right. It's Horton just struggling to stay on the black stuff. But when you know you've got that sort of margin up your sleeve, everything sort of gelled for him. The conditions weren't as bad as probably what they are. As we see Gilliam finishing off his lap. P5. Phil Sell. Trying to beat that 39.3. That's a 40.0. So he moved up to P3.
I can tell you the field are just all crawling around the racetrack at this point in time. They are struggling. You would think a guy that's named after these conditions would be doing well. Rain Campbell down in 15th spot. Maybe he's only allowed to have one rain in the car, and the instant there's other rain anywhere around, he's going to struggle. We'll have to ask him about that at some point in time.
Well, Damon Woods has just gone to P2.
So there is still pace in the track, is what that lap says.
It's just about gelling it. You can see there's marbles on the racetrack just through there too. So there's obviously cars that are, they're grip limited, making little mistakes, bringing garbage back onto the racetrack. So that'll hurt some of the drivers that are back in the field and maybe even haven't put a time down. See Matty Bowler, he crosses the line. Only good enough for 31st, up to 32nd now. Blacklock. Oh, again, through the gravel there. He's going to abort and go straight to the lane. So he's going to go for a new set and start again. And that'll be his last run, because we're 7.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, for sure. You'd throw enough fuel in that car to get it through to the end of qualifying for sure. Right. Yeah, the problem is no one's massively improving at this point in time. Like it's so difficult. You can see the sheen on the road and the puddles really starting to build up right around the racetrack as well. That's what you're looking for as a spectator, is those puddles. Obviously, we know curbs, anything painted is going to be slippery, but there are puddles now and it's starting to build up.
Did you feel for Robbie Gibbs? We were just talking about second in the championship coming into tonight and just having a shocker at the moment, P28 at this stage. So he'd ideally, you just don't want to start down the back of the pack, especially when you're having such a good season. But doesn't mean his night's over. It's just going to make it just that little bit more difficult.
I think a lot of them are going to struggle tonight. And those championship guys, like you said, Robbie Gibbs, Gillian with a handful. Blanchimont is probably one of these spots in world motorsport you do not want to have a moment.
Oh, deal, that would have got his attention.
Where do you look at the moment? Because who's actually going to be able to improve? And I can see the shiny line and the sheen on that racetrack is just building. There's the puddle on the inside of the last corner for Jared Filsell. He'll try and find some time on the run to the line. Won't improve out to the 40s again. You can just see that's the difference in the racetrack. For Jared Filsell, his best lap in the session so far is a 240.092. And that lap was a 40. So he's effectively 1.1 seconds slower at the moment. For Madison Down, he'll try and get a run on towards the start-finish line. He's 1.9 seconds off the pace. Did improve. So again, another driver that perhaps just didn't quite grasp it earlier on in the session. But he has made time now.
A little bit of sunshine coming out. You can see from this camera shot, it's a little bit brighter here. So 5.5 minutes. Whoa!
Oh, boy.
That was just him trying to... He'd had a moment, got off the racetrack, and so lucky not to collect poor old Ryan O'Sullivan, who was minding his own business. And, wow, that was lucky. That didn't be a lot worse than what it was. Just couldn't pull it up. Too wet.
We've got to pick... Is Brady Myers the right guy to try and go for a lap on board with... moment. Just have a look at where everything's starting to get tricky, because I'm just eyeing off puddles in a whole number of spots. Quite low on the inside of the La Source hairpin here. Think about it, we've got a standing start to get through yet as well in the back of your minds. But the rain is thinning. There is another band coming, but it's lighter, about half an hour away at this point in time. So there's time to get through.
The puddle.
Look at that.
Oh, you don't want a puddle there.
But look at the car. Understeer, oversteer, understeer. All the way up from Eau Rouge Radion. Curb. Yeah. Where do you place it? Where do you think about keeping... Because eyesight is quite critical. Think about lap 1 when we get to this point.
Yeah. And you think about the poor people that are going to be down the back of the field and have all that spray to contend with as well. Oh, the massive puddle there too. There's a lot of water on the racetrack around here. Brady's just all over the job.
Water on the racetrack around here. I think at this point in time, Sandman, get the wellies out. I hope you've got the life jacket strapped in. We know you've got the fire suit, but I don't think you'll be needing that one today. If any fires break out, they're going to be very quickly put out.
Just holding on for dear life.
But look, how often do you see that level of wheel work from these guys? Normally it's very, very smooth. Understeer, 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 curve, ride it out quite well, and you've got to be deft with that throttle. But how often is there mini corrects and you can visibly see the cars understeering?
And he's already sort of preempting it too, because he can see the puddle, so he knows that the car's going to misbehave on him, trying his best to stay away from the painted lines. Now the trouble he's got here is that he's catching these cars up front, and it's taken some of that visibility and the line away for it too, because everyone's going to be on the ideal line, and there's going to be a lot of water off that part of the racetrack too. So, well, he got lucky here. One of those guys just got out of the way for him.
I really, really hope spotters and engineers are ready to call the mayhem tonight. And if they are not receiving a massive bump in their paychecks, I would be asking big questions, because there's going to be all on them tonight in terms of visibility. This is the run up to Blanchimont. This is probably tricky in where you've got to place the car. Don't touch. Look at that little bit of a painted surface on the outside. Glide it in. Tip it in. You're going to be on the outside of the slick stuff. Look at the puddle on the back of the curve there at Blanchimont.
That's where we saw Gillian before had that massive moment through there. So Brady survived. What's he got in store here? Back in 27th. Still got more time, so this will be his last lap if he's got enough fuel in the tank.
Yeah, he won't get an opportunity.
But it's still Luke Rosella. We go on board with Jacob O'Reilly making his run to the start-finish line. Luke Rosella's got that just over 2/10 margin still up his sleeve over Damon Woods. And Ryan Bettiston, that early time, that was his banker, and now he's still holding on to P3. James Scott in a world of hurt, and that'll be his session over.
35th.
Yep.
35th for James Scott. The entirety of the Chiefs guys, they were in trouble, because it's not just those two. My word, Stenny's just bailed. He's just said, no, not having any of it.
Yeah.
This is This is going to be tricky. This is really, really difficult now. 43 laps finally. Tom Freer just put a valid lap time on the board. And have a look at how slow the track is. His lap time for 43rd spot is 6 seconds off the pace. That's how much the track's degraded. That was his first lap. We were talking about celebrating what Josh Anderson did at the Bend over the weekend. He's got to start in the rear of the field tonight, not eligible to qualify. We forgot to talk about that earlier on.
Yeah. And, geez, could have come at a worse time. Oh, Gillett, he's just enjoying himself here. Holy dooly, hold on. But you're right, yeah, starting from rear of grid, that visibility is going to be awful.
Improvement for Gilly? I like the finish line's a little bit further down. I thought it was a little bit further back. No, it is an improvement for Gilliam.
Yeah.
So time is out there and on the table if you can get the tire to the right temperature and target it very, very right. Well, it's ahead of his teammate, but at the moment, pole position driver of Luke Brazilla just goes, yep, not enough time, not enough fuel. Here comes Blake Warboys. He'll dive into the bus stop shootout. The last gasps of qualifying. Going for board. Car number 63.
Down, there'll be one more lap if he's got the fuel on board.
The fact that he's going suggests he probably does have fuel on board, because why not?
Yeah, 15 seconds or 10 seconds now at the line. These cars will be the last couple that'll get across the line. Fella's going to fall short.
And track conditions are moderately well. We barely had an opportunity to look around and have a look at what's going on, you know, with the conditions and how it's declared. But it is moderately wet in the session. Hayden Veld will finally put a lap together and go to 10th spot. He was struggling to get something on the table. Remember what I said? He was, very, very quick at stand down last year. Matt Ciroli's in the midfield for Project 36. And the leader of their cars is Angus Lawford in 15th at the moment. Matt Ciroli will look to improve and try and go anywhere near his teammate, James Chastanuff, in 33rd. He will be over the moon with that qualifying effort. Robbie Gibbs is looking for a little bit of time. The sun pokes through the clouds at the last possible moment. Robbie Gibbs will be wanting there have been one more lap to try and find something, and this track might clear very quickly as well.
He'd be happy just to find half a second, yeah. Or he might have grabbed too much curb. He's aborted. 30 seconds for Robbie Gibbs.
For Brenton Hobson, car 88. Out of the final corner. Tom Freer will be just ahead of him. Freer will be looking for some time. Or the drop bear car around in the background as well. Hobson will find time. So the track improved. At the back end of that session, the track did improve. So it wasn't Sam Blacklock that was around out of the final corner. He's down in 30th at the moment. He will improve by a 10th.
28th.
And it will be 2 spots. For Philippa Bokita at the moment. Who was the car down there? Is that Ratu? I think it is Brad Ratu who's coming out of the final corner. Philippa Bokita, 6 spots at 30th.
Yeah.
That track did swing around at the back end of that session. And you know what? Sandman, that says to me, we are going to be rapidly heading in the direction of a dry tyre after the drop of the green flag.
Now that's where you start to wonder, is like everyone will be praying for this session just to tick over for the race, just to see what sort of conditions we've got. It's going to be interesting. It'll probably be a dry racetrack. I don't know. Venice.
Right. Ryan Betts will come across the start-finish line, but he will not care. I tell you what, if he does not celebrate, I'd be celebrating now.
Absolutely.
You know it's in the top 5. You know that there's probably not many laps out there that are going to best at the moment. Second place is coming to the line, so Damon Woods will be looking for a time. Andre Youssef is coming through. Woods will be in the background of this shot. He'll be out of the last corner here in a few moments. Can car 56 steal pole position at the last time of asking? I don't think it's going to be quick enough. You'd need to be better than the 391. It will be an improvement for second place. He won't grab a spot though, but there was every opportunity. Rattray White slid down the field. The track did improve. He will improve by over a second for Zach Rattray White. 17-7 in the dying seconds of the qualifying session. Checkered flag in the air. The car 17. Well, he's hoping that it's lucky number 7 instead of 17.
How good is that? Found a second in that last lap. That's brilliant. And that's just those conditions just getting a little bit better.
Yeah, and massively. And that sun is out. Look at how brighter it is out there already. But look at that puddle. Lap 1.
Ooh. Now, we know that the conditions of the track do change a little bit once we switch over to our race time. Because obviously there's a time difference from qualifying to the race. So it'll be interesting to see what these drivers have got themselves up against.
I think there's a couple cars that are just testing a dry tyre at the back end of that session, just tinkering and getting a little bit of... Because if you knew that your qualifying was over and you weren't going to get a lap together, why not just venture out and get a feel and just put some data there so you know how tricky it's going to fall on that cross back over. That rain came down quite heavy in the middle of that session as well, so those puddles are actually quite big.
Nah, you put a slip tyre on this the way it is at the moment, you're tasting hospital food, I reckon.
Right, ladies and gents, qualifying is in the books. There are no more times to come our way. It is over and done with. We are going to take a 5-second break in terms of us talking. We're just going to reset volumes and some technical fidgets behind the scenes. We'll be right back with you in 5 seconds, boys.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about that one. Technological gremlins, we have to stop, we have to solve them, and it's going to be a great opportunity to have a few words to some of our drivers up and down the field. Now, I know that we did actually have some words from tonight's pole sitter, Luke Rosella, on standby, so we might just jump through and see if we can grab a word from Luke Rosella in some pre-prepared interviews first, ladies and gents.
Well, a lot of wet racing. We got no wet racing in the series last year, so it was good to see some wet races in the qualifying series. But yeah, some really good talent coming through. There was always going to be every year in the qualifying series some good drivers coming through and trying to make it in. So it was really entertaining to watch, and of course pretty good to be part of Brad's campaign as well, helping him out, as well as Jared and Brody. So it was really good to watch.
After the wildest qualifying session of the season so far, and one that is the most out there in terms of what we've seen over the last couple of years, it's going to be Luke Rosella, who manages to grab pole position in a quick interview with him that was grabbed earlier at the Bathurst 12 Hour this year. Damon Woods will line up alongside of him on the front row. Dropping back to row number 2, Ryan Bettis will put in the qualifying performance of his life, and he'll be over this one for Andrew Gilliam, the series leader, on his outside. Gilly was keen to out-qualify the guys on this row. Jared Philsell and teammate will be out of P5 before it's 0.4 of a second back to Emily Jones. Back towards the back end of the top 10, we're going to have Rattray White and Jacob O'Reilly out of 7th and 8th. Look at the margins, 1.4 seconds back to 8th spot. Biggest spread across the top 10 in the series' history, bar none. 9th and 10th for Wayne Burke. He'll be happy with this one. Higher question marks over his decisions back at Road Atlantic. Gets it done. Jake Burton was able to put the lap together to P10. We're going to quick fire through the rest of the field because we've got some stuff to try and get out of the way before we get into tonight's race. Hagenfeld from Blake Warboy is out of 11th and 12th. 7th row of the grid is going to be that of Madison Down. He'll be happy with this one for Ryan O'Sullivan to his outside. We'll talk to Sully in just a few moments. 8th row of Thomas McMillan and Angus Lawford. Lawford's best qualifying performance was up inside the 10 for a long period of time. Be very happy with that one. Jake Maloney from Rain Campbell. Back to 19th and 20th. We're going to be looking at Britton Hobson and Joshua Horton. Outside of the 20 is going to be Brad Ratsu and Lachlan Capel on an all Logitech G or drop air. Row number 11, Andre Youssef, Jordan Mazzaroli, Adam Briggs and Rick Kuznetsov of row 13, Stenberg and Sam Blacklock. and rounding out the 30 of Brady Myers from Philippa Bokita. Dylan Pereira and Andre Heimgartner are going to be the first cars outside the 30. Robbie Gibbs, Chastanoff, Rivera and James Scott back to 36th. Bo Albert and Dylan Rudd 37th and 38th. Wayne Walker from Matty Bowler. Ryan Jones, Tom Freer, Brad Newman is the last of the qualifiers, all the way back in 43rd spot. Josh Anderson and Daniel Polton will come from the rear of the grid. Speaking about Josh Anderson, Mr. Sandman is going to be over the moon to have a chat to the driver of car number 36 from his race at Tailem Bend.
Yeah, I've caught up with Josh on the grid. And Josh, mate, of all the nights that you need to start rear of grid and the conditions that we might have in front of us, tonight's the night. Unfortunately, you're starting down the back, buddy.
Yeah, not ideal. It was a unusual experience watching quali. I haven't had one of these RAGs before, but it was exciting. I greatly enjoyed watching it. But yeah, I'm sort of considering, do I start from the pit lane or not? We'll see. I'm kind of expecting a Spa 98 situation on the first lap, but we'll see.
Now, can you give us an insight before we talk about the weekend? Slicks or wets? What are you doing? Are you brave enough to go out on slicks or what?
Oh, I reckon I'm going to go on wets, mate. I think there's more rain coming. I'm going to go on wets.
Yep. All right, now let's talk about the rain and the wet. You at Tailem Bend, mate. Massive congratulations. We spoke about it on the G Hub at the start of this broadcast, where you got your maiden win. You didn't also get your maiden win. You got your top 2 wins, and of course, leading the championship in the Mustang Cup. Tell us all about it, mate. A massive congratulations.
Thanks, Sam. I got an amazing opportunity to race in the Mustang Cup this year. Like I wasn't expecting it, and yeah, I got very, very fortunate. So I want to make the best of it and try and be as good a driver as I can, and always looking to get better. And so I think I am improving, and we're pretty. It wasn't a huge field, but still, people like Jack Perkins are quality drivers, so they still make you work for it. And it was good to get some decent results and keep improving.
And keep Jack honest too, mate. You took it to him, and mate, you took it away from him with only a couple of corners to go. It was a heck of a move up the inside. That would have been, quite a moment. A little fist pump to yourself for that. That would have been quite good.
Yeah, it was funny because I sort of managed my tyres and then came back towards him. And then he did, obviously, with his racing experience, he definitely put his car in all the right positions. And I was feeling like a bit of an idiot. I was behind him. I was like, oh, he's making me look a bit silly here. And then, but that was like, you got to work for it, right? And then, it opened up at the second last corner, and I thought, I'll have a go. And it luckily pulled it up hard on the ABS. And so that was pretty cool. But yeah, so pretty cool experience.
Well, from everyone here, mate, a huge congratulations. We're thrilled for you. I know a lot of us were cheering on the sidelines. I couldn't have been happier for you, buddy. We'll let you concentrate for tonight, though. Good luck starting from pit lane. And hopefully we talk to you at the end of the night, eh?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Should be a fun race.
All right.
Anything can happen.
Good luck, mate. Stay out of trouble.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right, after that interview, we're going to have to rapid fire here with Ryan Sullivan. Sully, qualifying series, obviously we talked to you a whole bunch. You weren't necessarily all that happy, but you said, hey, it's coming at some point in time. The results have been really, really good in 2026 in the main game so far. You are right up there and in the pecking order for the championship. But the big thing tonight, wet stuff, wet tyre to start. You did well in qualifying. Now you got to get this thing off the grid.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. The qualifying didn't really go to plan for me. The spray is just crazy on another level. You can't even see in front of you, so I got a bit unlucky on a couple laps there. But yeah, we've had a pretty good start of the season. Hopefully we can just keep it rolling.
Mate, in terms of the challenge of this place, you're 14th at the moment. You've got to survive the source. You've got to survive Eau Rouge Radion, but the wall of spray. What's the plan to manage it, and how overworked is the spotter going to be tonight?
He'll be working overtime for sure. I'm just playing out the first couple, maybe the first lap, see where we're heading, see where we're at really, and just try and keep the car clean at the start. It's going to be pretty hectic, so just keep the nose clean, see where we end up.
Right, other than that, mate, 90 seconds left before you get into firing things up. I guarantee you'll have a little bit of a pre-race prep to go through in a breath. Enjoy, get the head down, and hopefully you'll be able to see things in a couple laps in.
Thank you, Scotty. Cheers, mate.
Righto, ladies and gentlemen, we are under 70 seconds to grid. Have a look at the puddles on both sides of the grid. Have a look at the weather and the way that it's dropped down and through the paddock. This is the big challenge over here, Sandman. Lap 1, you better believe that you had enough opportunities in qualifying to have a look at it. But that's completely different to the first time you fire down in here. And I guarantee you someone will stick the nose in 3 wide.
Yeah, and what you can see too is there's puddles there, but there's no rain falling at the moment. So that might get a dry line through there fairly quickly with this many cars on track. And so it's going to be very interesting. But look, as you can see that, there's more rain on the way.
But the big thing in this storm is that it is light green at worst, light blue most of the way through. The cloud cover is coming and going. We are 20 seconds to our green flag. Luke Rosella has grabbed his first pole position in a while. Damon Woods has managed to grab himself a seat on the front row. If there is anyone who is versed in these conditions, it's him. What about the wild card in Ryan Bettis on position number 3? We are getting set for the second ever wet start in this motor race in this series' history, the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. We are in Belgium, boys. It's a Spa ride. It's wet. It's windy. This is going to be challenging. We are ready to let them loose. Here we go in the run to La Source hairpin. Who is going to spin tyres up? Killian's got a mega getaway from the outside of row number 2, but they're already 3 wide deeper into the field. The run to the La Source hairpin. Bettis is covering off Darren Filzel. He's going to be 2 wide as they enter turn number 1. Now they're going to try and crawl their way out of here. Who's finding the grip? Who's finding the ability to put that horsepower down to the floor? And who is going to be coming a cropper when we crest the top of this hill?
Yeah, getting through here for the first time, so they all know about that puddle. They're all going to try and get through here single file. You don't want to be racing side by side up through here, especially in these conditions. Looks like everyone's going to give each other just enough room to get through there. But thankfully, it's been a clean start so far.
Oh, look at it. Look at it. Look how little you can see. Look at the guys at the front. Rosella's covering. There's a slowdown penalty for Ryan Bettis. He crawled up over too much curb across the top of Eau Rouge. Phil Sellion hot. He's now on the puddle in turn 4. Now they've got to try and find that space back through, but they're challenging for the lead. David Woods wants to have a crack at it. Here comes Ryan Bettis. Bettis has the nose in second. Do you think he can get there? He's certainly going to have a go. They're all crawling down to the bottom of the hill now, right around the outside. Ryan Bettis has got 2 wheels in a second place. Can he make it 3? Can he make it 4? Elbows around. There might be someone around in the tail end of the field. I think there is. They're all trying to survive lap 1. But this is tricky conditions. This is trying conditions. Now, where do they go? They're going to pull up. Bettis slides through. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can.
No, not yet. I don't know if it's over yet. He's going to be up the inside wood. So no, he didn't quite get it. So he held on. Great move there for Bettis. Oh, my goodness. They're still trying to build a bit of temperature and build the pressures up in these tyres. Thankfully, they gave each other all the racing room. Car off.
Wayne Burke was the car off and in the gravel. He's going to jump that back on the racetrack through the Lafayette chicane for the first time. The rain started. The rain just started pouring. Remember, this is the southwest corner of the circuit. They're three wide. The Vietnam. McMillan's to the inside. Rattray was on the outside. Rattray's going to look for the crisscross. Here comes the RW. He's going to have a stab. Wayne Burke is the guy who made the mistake on the way to Lafayette. Now he's going to try and hang on to it. He's dropping positions if you would think it's going out of fashion. There's a big break at the head of the field. Burns going with Emily Jones. At the back end of that lead box for 7th. Oh boy, they're all throwing at each other. There's guys that messed up their qualifying. They've got good race cars and they've got to survive this opening lap as well.
Woods a massive dive up the inside, so he's grabbed second place there. Gilliam and Philsell, they're trying to have it too, but that's not over for second. It's Woods and Bettis again.
Well,
everyone just getting through.
The tricky thing is that rain's already started, but it's light rain this time. It's light rain. It's not going to get as heavy. And the track is already lightly wet. You know, Sandman, we're actually nearly back to a crossover point already. We can only spend a couple laps on this tyre. I reckon we're only going to stick 3 or 4. Watching this replay here, Adam Briggs is going to get rotated off the nose of one of the TTR cars. So he was just trying to leave a little bit of space. And this is Philippa Bokita on the inside down here as well. Just strips off that curve a little bit.
Oh, she got tagged too as well. Oh, there's a couple of cars going around there too. Oh, got a clip as well. And that fired into the inside too. Who was that?
I think it might have been Andre Heimgartner that was the first car that made contact with Briggs that triggered all of that. Marcelo Rivera was the Evolution Racing Team car. My word.
Flipped back and then fired into the arm cone.
Look at this, the rain's back.
Yeah. it's going to be changeable conditions. We saw on that radar where, bit of a slide there for Madison Down. He held onto it. That radar is showing that it's just going to start and stop, start and stop. So it's probably at the moment you're not going to even think about slicks at this stage because it looks like there's another bit of rain coming even after this bit. So even though the rain will start and stop, the track is still going to be wet.
It's going to be wet for now, but that spray compared to that first lap is already starting to lessen. It's 45 cars made their circuits through lap 1. You can already see visibility is markedly improved. But the big thing about this racetrack is the rise and the fall of it. There are going to be streams in awkward places for a long period of time here.
This onboard shot. There's a different line that Emily have got compared to Andrew Gilliam. They're both just trying to find that grip and see where their cars behave best. Both obviously all dodging the puddles as much as they can, and it's just as bad as being as gentle as you can be on that throttle. Because if you mash that throttle, these guys are going to line up and you're just going to go either sideways or you're going to go backwards in the field and start passing them.
But how good is it with a bit of rain in the air and all of a sudden where the pecking order is has just changed massively, hasn't it? Who's got control? Who's at the right place at the right time? Who put the qualifying lap together? We need to probably have a little bit of a think about who's the movers and the shakers at the moment. Chris McMillan on a massive game. We're going to go for a ride with Andre Heimgartner. This is Rouge all the way up to Radion. Have a look at the sprays in the field like on lap 1.
Yeah, and he's just using his feelers to say, all right, he's even moving away from cars just so he can get just that little bit more vision. But he's literally just walking, he's driving into a wall of spray.
And then here's this mob of cars that all come back together at the Lacombe chicane. He's got speed. He wants to take it somewhere and he just carried too much of it.
He can't take it into the rear of the car.
Yeah, that was Adam Prince, unfortunately, go-karter from Lismore.
Whoa.
Look at this!
Everyone's flying.
Well, this is to jump off the wet tyre, surely. Surely this is diving off the wet tyre. No way. The paddle at Eau Rouge. That's going to be massive.
No, they're not going out on slicks. They have to be. They're just getting that first stop over the way, so it's only a two-stopper. Listen, down. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage too. The front of it looks like his splitter's just ripped off, and it has. He's got massive damage to the front of that TTR Chevrolet. We're going to have to chase a replay. I wonder if he's got massive steering damage as well. Oh, he's been given a serve as well.
Brad Raxel is the car that's in behind him, who's into him at the moment.
Oh, another car off in front of him too.
And he's just trying to crawl. He's got no downforce. And that's the two teammates in behind him as well that are just trying to line up and have their crack at him because they know at this point in time that we spotters talking to them saying that 77 car is walking wounded at this point in time. Blake's
unscared. No, he's got away with it. Oh, he's got wiggly. Oh, he's just got sideways on that puddle and bang. Made contact. They just got caught out by the conditions. That's all there was to it, unfortunately. They had to battle up front.
So the critical thing here is you can't take a compulsory pit stop at the end of lap 1. So all those guys that were looking to just get out of the queue couldn't do it. They had to wait for lap 2, which is what they did. Slap the wets on. The rain's pelting down again now, but how long's that going to last? 5 or 10 minutes? By the way, the weather radar has another band of rain coming. So we're getting another 15-minute break of dry conditions, and then another light band is building behind it.
Yeah, when you say dry conditions where it's actually not falling from the sky, but the track's still going to be in a dry state. So Luke Rosella, Damon Woods, Ryan Bettis, there you are. Woods is looking a little bit racy here. He's looking, he's going to have a look. He's going to go, they're going to go side by side. He's on the outside, not ideal. He's going to go crisscrossed. Oh, they just get the power down. Have a look at him, nose to tail for the top 5.
Well, if you're Ryan Bettis, how aggressive do you get right here? Because you've probably grasped something and found a huge bonus. Luke Rosella's going to get the elbows out at Damon Woods at turn 1. How aggressive are you going to cover? Is it worth it, or do you just lock in P4 in the night? Do you just stay here? Because he's got pace. He's not out of sequence with these guys. He's not falling.
No, run your own race.
Could you imagine, though, he was normally going to finish in the middle of the field or something. An extra 100 points on the night here. Phil set him up really wide against him. He's got a slow down penalty now clear for himself. Emily Jones has got one. So I would State less grip than they had last time through that section of the racetrack. And now, Damon Woods has got the nose ahead. Does he skate on through? Can he clear off on Rosella?
Your question with Bettis, he just needs to run his own race. He'll know what sort of car he's got compared to the guys around him. If you're getting a lot of pressure from behind and you think they're going to be a bit racy and you don't want to be in that position, he's on the outside, he's looking for that grip, the go-kart line. But got fed a little bit there from Rosella. But just be smart about where he's at. He's in a great position. If he gets too much pressure, let the guys race a little bit and they might even end up taking each other out. So he could be kissed here. He might be gifted a position or two, but at the moment he's doing a brilliant job.
So just doing a little bit of digging around. Remember we were talking about Pippa Kita and that incident on lap 1, the car she got into. Have a guess who's having a terrible night after qualifying. Have a guess who's might got worst. Probably guessed. It was the other car that was involved in that. Was the Chiefs car that got rotated as a part of contact with Pippa Kita. So unfortunately for Robbie, but when you qualified terribly, you're back there, you're in the junk, you're out of slots, you're out of sequence, that stuff is going to continue on happening. We're running on board at the moment with Angus Lawford, who's doing his best to navigate a strong qualifying performance for him.
Look at the concentration too. Oh. He's just trying his absolute best. He knows he's getting that pressure from behind that Sam Blacklock. Just harassing the back of his car. He's doing a brilliant job just holding him on.
That was a lot of risk with that curve. The rear end of that car is starting to slide. Worthwhile pointing out as well, these guys don't have the tools they can adjust. All they've got is throttle shape and brake bias. There's no ARB adjustments they can really make with these things to tinker with them, try and get them some grip. Both of the guys run wide there at Blanchemont.
Jeez, I hold my breath. I tell you, when you see those cars get a little bit wide, we've already seen the moments like what Madison Down had, and we saw Jared Philsell had a moment. Who's that in the lane?
That's Sam Blacklock. That's smart. That's just going. Oh, it's Josh Horton as well.
Josh Horton.
And Sam Blacklock's going to be the next car up and over that crest. I was just watching that battle between Blacklock and Angus Lawford, and the reason we're watching that one is Stenny's just enjoying some real estate on the rear end of that car. Cruise around.
Enjoying? Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him. He's always up on the wheel each and every week, but man, with these conditions, look at him just trying to be as gentle as he can.
And there's another battle on for that lead once again. Luke Rosella now goes side by side with Ryan Bettes, who will go around the outside, but Bettes lit it up on the curbs. Now he's going to deal with one lob's car down his inside and another one that's lining up to take the pair of them.
He's gone wide.
Wide. He's going to try and take it back in. Philsell's got the pair of them. He went for the early diving at the apex, took the apex away from Bettes and Rosella. Bettes trying to power around the outside. Rosella trying to cover him all the way around the outside. David Woods looks at his rear view and goes, see you later, boys. Race wind's going this way, and I'm off into the sunset.
What a move for Bettes. He was having a poke maybe up the inside of Philsell, but he's just there harassing the back of him. He's got Rosella there. Gilliam's there trying to get on the power to take part in it all too. Oh my goodness, this is terrific racing, this battle for second.
He's not giving it up. I'll tell you what, I thought, he might just play timid here. He might just play smart. He might just accept a race result, but he has kept the boot in as Ryan Bettes, and he is absolutely throwing hammer and tong at it at the moment.
He's got nothing to lose. He's got a chance at snagging a legit victory here. So, and he's racing up against the best of Jared Philsell. Like, look at him. He's taking it right to him. He's got drive.
He did have drive for a moment. Then the car snagged that white line on the outside. Look at the rain starting to thunder back down on this section of the racetrack as that second shower comes through. This is the heaviest portion. They're currently in touch a white line on the inside for Philsell, all the way beyond the track limits on the outside on the run into Blanchemont. Now he's got to hang on to it. Puddles everywhere as they crest the rise. Now it's into the braking zone for the bus stop. Bettes is just lurking, isn't he?
It's brilliant. He's not fallen off. He's right there.
He's right there again.
And you know who's loving this is Damon Woods. He's got that little bit of a gap, almost 2 seconds over Jared Philsell, and that's what he wants to see in his rearview mirror. He wants to see these guys squabbling around because the more they do that, the more they're going to slow each other up. Damon Woods can just be eyes forward and just hit his marks. How good, don't you love rain? Isn't it brilliant?
I do. But it's tricky. It's because of all the rises and falls. If this was a flat racetrack, the rain wouldn't be as interesting. The puddle would just form in the curbs. It's because this racetrack is built into the side of such a hilly region that the streams across the racetrack challenge you in different ways, and how you've got to cross that slippery line. That's the thing about wet weather racing. You've got to cross a slippery line at some point. Rattray White, you got a spot.
Yeah, he's made his way up, so he got past Burton and Emily Jones, and here we go. Here's that dive up the inside of Emily Jones.
Third fastest car on the racetrack last lap too.
Got himself some pace, and the beauty is now that he's got Emily behind him, he's got a little bit of clear track in front of him too.
Well, he was quick whilst making overtakes on that last lap. Now he's about to pick off a few more. Orbit Drop Bear versus Project 36. Mazzaroli and Capel on the run down into Lacombe chicane. Well, Lachlan Capel, car number 18. It's half a 36, so I don't think he put up half as much of a fight. But look at them. They're just all... I can't get on. I love this. I love this.
Well, the beauty is, too, a lot of these teams up front, they still have to have... they've got to make 2 more stops. There's teams and drivers that have already got one of those out of the way. So that's something to think about, too, is that if they get a safety car at the moment, you know, there's teams that will come and fire in. We're almost at that lap critical where they could make it to the end. If we got a late safety car, everyone who's already got one of those pit stops out of the way, they could make it to the end here.
Just thinking, I reckon Rattray White's just about cleared a window behind him to get a cheap stop in. That might be worthwhile thinking. If he's running him down on pace, and he's certainly running his way back towards them. But whilst you got free track, but when he gets them, just pit. You know, you've got guys that we talked about in the pre-show. Rivalries are heading. Why fight it?
Well,
why tinker with it?
Yeah, clear track around here is key too. So we've already spoken about that. So if you've got a fast car, you've got a little clear track. Exactly. Just use it up. Oh, Jared, oh my goodness, how did he not loop it there? He got really wide there, but still held onto it. But for the moment, I'd just be using that speed. Sorry.
Marcelo Rivera's the lap car that was in and around that one after the incident. Lap 1's not really gone his way. Slow-mo of the rear shot from Jared Filsell towards Ryan Bettes. Just a little bit of handiwork behind the wheel, won't it? 39.5, so that is back to basically qualifying pace, but with full fuel in the car, which said that the track continues to improve from Damon Woods, and he's 2 seconds gone.
Yeah, loving it. That's good. That's what he wants. Marcelo Rivera, Black War Boys, they're all in the lane for the moment.
Jordan Mazzaroli's going to dive in. He's starting to recognise that he's just sort of getting torn apart a little bit in terms of speed. Brad Ratsu was in and around that group as well. He must have already circulated through the pit lane. He has. Right-hand side of your timing tower, ladies and gentlemen, is the number of pit stops performed. So at this point in time, first car to make a stop is Jake Maloney in 20th spot. It'll be War Boys.
Rosella.
It's Maloney, Rosella, and Ryan Bettes. So Rosella's found a little bit of speed come back his way. That says to me, Bettes has
they've touched.
Somewhere. That was an elbow. He'll yield.
Yep.
He will yield. No, he's going to carry on with it. So he reckons, from Ryan Bettes' shoes, that that wasn't an elbow or he wasn't left enough room. So therefore, it's play on.
Let them battle it out, but he's not rolling over, and that's what I love. He's still taking it to him, but if you look forward, Jared Filsell has just left these guys. So it was Jared that was having to get through this pack just only a couple of laps ago, and now he's, 2 seconds up the road already. So he's got his eyes locked on Damon Woods, and it's always a bit of a trait. What we see from Jared Filsell, he always starts to do a bit of a run, and then he makes his pit stop. So he's probably not far away from his first round of pit stops, possibly. But we'll see. 1.9 seconds the margin between Woods and Filsell. How
interesting, by the way, there's no rain right here through this section of the racetrack at this point in time. You see that? And then it starts.
Yeah.
So there's rain right here at the turn with no name before the run down to Puon. So there was a little bit of rain back up there, Rivage, Malmedy, that sort of an area. And then the run down here, there's no rain. Well, there it starts to pick up a little bit again.
Yeah.
And then watch when they head to Lafanya, just up the road, the next couple of corners. The rain stops again.
Just scattered showers, and that's what we're going to deal with. You see McMillan's got a 5-second penalty. So again, if that was me, I'd be in getting that penalty over and done with, because if you get a safety car, bunch this field up, it could work in your favour.
and it's scattered showers. It's stop and start. It was dry on the entry to the bus stop. Watch this. No rain right here. They'll get halfway through this bus stop. There's a smattering of rain sort of halfway through about here, and then it stops again before the first corner. So it is really moving around the racetrack at the moment. Completely and utterly changeable conditions. There is dry-ish lines in part. That puddle down at Eau Rouge has a couple tyre tracks through it now. Watch this. Yeah, good luck seeing that if you're in Luke Rosella's shoes.
He's going to get a run here on Ryan. He's got him.
Not yet.
It's a drag race.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Now he does.
Yeah. He'll just cover. Yeah, that's exactly what he's done. Just move over a little bit, cover that inside line, put a bit of spray up in Ryan's face. Oh, he's going to hang tough. He's around the outside, but he didn't quite get him cleared. Gilliam sees this happening in front of him. He's like, you two boys, if you want to punch on and take on, that's all right. I might pick up the pieces.
Wonder what the chatter would be like in that room at the moment. And most recent lap time, fastest car on track is Damon Woods, and he's been pretty consistent at that point in time. The whole top group are in the 2-minute 40s. Rattray White is the last car in the 2-minute 40s. From there on back, it's 41s. So Rattray White just ran a 240.53. Every other car behind him. Sorry, my apologies. I take that back. I'm reading the wrong column on my timing sheets. Last time by Damon Woods was a 39.7. Phil Sell 39.8. Rosella 49. Yeah, there we go. Last lap on the timing tower. Betes 41.3, 41.1, 40.6. So it was actually Rattray White that was the fastest car on track last time by. Sorry, my apologies. Phil Sell was. Yep. Look, let's... Is it worthwhile pointing out now that I'm a data analyst by trade? That's not gone well for me.
But those guys that are in the 39s, they're stoked with that pace that they've got at the moment. And just wonder how much longer it'll be before these drivers knock off that first round of pit stops.
By the way, we're only 8 laps into this one. We've got another 22. Yeah. There'll be 21 to go at the end of this lap. I have a sneaking suspicion we are going to get onto a dry tyre. So do you run long? So all those guys that pit at the end of lap 2, they were looking for a little bit of, clear air, and they were expecting a transition over to a dry tyre. Could you imagine if they have to run a long middle stint on that wet tyre and it just starts to fall off a cliff? They're in trouble.
Yeah, it's hard to read at the moment. I think, not that I'm a very good crew chief, but if I had my crew chief hat on, I think it's going to stay wet. I don't think there's going to be a transition to dries the way the weather map's looking, and the way the track is still holding a lot of water too. So
we haven't seen like that sun poke its head through. If we see the sun poke its head out, then we'll be good to go. Actually, that next band of rain that's coming through has got some heavy stuff in it. Watch the handiwork here from Kurt Stenberg.
That was just a case of hit the puddle. That left front grabbed that puddle, and that's turned the car sideways, and he just threw a heap of opposite lock, held onto it. And thankfully he lives to tell another day. But look at him go up on the wheel, very Stenny-esque, but he's got his work cut out for him. And that's his teammate in Anderson, who started dead last in this field. He started from the lane, I think. Still trying his best to get through the field.
Sam Blacklock cutting his way through the field at the moment. This is going to be toe-to-toe and door-to-door with one of the Vermilion cars. At the moment, this will be trouble heading down through Eau Rouge. Radion, he's got the preferred line, turns it in at the corner, finds a little bit of bite, hangs on to it. Whoever that was, backed out.
Smart.
In behind him, yeah. It was Rain Campbell that elected to step sideways and just go, nah, this is going to work out well for me.
Look at that visibility. That is insane. You're just basically going off the red glow of the brake lights and the lights in front of you.
Now Blacklock's looking in another Vermilion car just ahead of him as well. A little bit of work to do. I believe that'll be Rick Kuznetsov's the car that's just ahead of him as well. So this is sort of the lead group of guys that have made their first pit stop. Wayne Burke is the other guy who has pit. And he is currently all the way up in 13th spot. He's the first driver to make a pit stop, so we just need to watch his progress just a little bit. And this next lap time for Wayne Burke will be critical to sort of giving us a read on what guys with a little bit fresher rubber look like in these changeable conditions. That edge on the tyre is really, really important. Ben Hess is back in a third spot, and now it's Luke Rosella who's starting to struggle just a little bit.
Oh, I thought you nearly did the curse on him then, because Rosella looked like he was going to make a little bit of a dive. Thankfully, there was no contact. But a great drive from Ryan. And in these conditions, is that Gilliam? He's going to think about a move up the inside. No, just putting his nose to the bumper of his teammate. Oh, a little bit of contact here. That's Rick Kuznetsov. Oh, no way. They're going to try and go side by side. Look at him. He's just wiggling the car, just trying to get the power down. And the more that he got to mash the throttle, just the more sideways it got.
Oh, now it's all three of them that are going to have troubles entering the next corner. It's Bo Albert that's at the head of this group. He's yet to make a pit stop. And for that spot, Sam Blacklock had just picked it up. Now he's giving it straight back. Now Rick Kuznetsov is trying to have a go at the Chiefs car. And Bo is going to become the cork in the bottle here.
Never a good feeling, is it, when you know you've got these cars just barreling down. Is that Madison down? He's still pushing on with that front end missing. So he's doing actually a pretty good job. I think it's working in his favour, these conditions, that everyone's not as fast as what they probably could be. And here we go. Here's a battle.
Well, that's critical, because remember, Sam Blacklock was just in behind Angus Lawford before he made his pit stop. Well, now he's pit, and now he's popped out a couple seconds down the road, but Lawford had a slower stop. Now, the wet tyre on these cars does have a warm-up phase. It's not long, it's not major, but there is a little bit of a lack of grip on this next lap. The problem for this battle pack at the moment is they're all costing each other time.
They're going to
got a slow-down penalty out of all of this. It's got some time to serve. Did I just hear something about a safety car? No, I didn't.
A little bit of contact.
Oh, gee whiz.
Sorry, there's so much going on on this group.
Oh, Albert right here, and that's critical to all these guys. Albert is struggling at this point in time. And we'll get a replay of what happened to Andre Heimgartner momentarily, but take your eyes off this battle pack. If you dare, Rick, because he's going to take Blacklock with him.
Drilled.
In the bottom right-hand corner. And there's Andre Heimgartner losing it in the puddles. That Blanchimont just barely got missed into the fence. Back to those live pictures. Blacklock hung on to it. Rick Kuznetsov did not. And we're going to need to queue up another replay for what we saw in the picture-in-a-picture.
Always the way when that racing was just getting juicy, and then we had to catch the action of Heimgartner. But, man, is that a little bit of damage to the front of that car too?
I think it might be to Kuznetsov.
A little bit. I think he got away with it, though. Here we go.
So Kuznetsov's got damage on the left rear corner of that thing as well. And he's just trying to keep it underneath him. He's got the job done on Bo Albert. We ride on board with Albert. They both skated in there, and Albert actually gets into him.
Yeah. And then he got collected as well, just add insult to injury. And while we're looking at that, Ryan Bettis has just gone fastest lap of the race so far, 39.5. So almost half a second quicker than our leader, Damon Woods.
And Woods has had Phil Sell taking small chunks of time out of him. Another external shot. Yeah, Bo got into him and rotated him. And there's the contact with Albert, and there's the teammates. All three of the Vermilion cars in that pack got into each other.
You're joking.
Oh, that's not going to be looked kindly at. But again, that's not really any of their fault. It's just wrong place, wrong time. Madison Down was trying to have a go at Sam Blacklock on the way into the chicane. Bo Albert feeds off in a pit lane. Angus Lawford gets the elbows out to the chicane. And Madison is going to try and have a crack at the pair of them. How good's this wet racing stuff? It's all about traction. It's all about putting rear wheels into the ground. And the groove tyres, the slick conditions, the puddles. It's all making for a tricky combination from Spa, and Angus Lawford's going to get the drive off the exit here. Someone's going to have to bail out of that one. Kuznetsov picks off a 5-second penalty for contact on lap 9, which was just before we caught up with this group. Look at them all skating through. Any of them can make a mistake. And Madison Down's race car looks beyond belief, and it's still competitive.
No, he's lucky that the conditions are a bit like this, although he'd be paying for a little bit more front-end grip. But look, at the end of the day, I think it's working in his favour at the moment, because he's able to race these guys and actually doing remarkably well, considering how bent and torn up that car is.
well, there's no weight on the front end of that car, and downforce apparently not required is what I'm looking at this point in time. Right, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Angus Lawford on the left, Sam Blacklock, just about in the same driving positions with the same camera. Are these guys twins? No, not by the shots from the camera.
It's great, though, that we've got this vision. We can see the guys hard at it.
Brady Myers is the next car in behind Blacklock. He took 3 seconds out of these guys on that last lap with how much they were fighting.
Yeah. A little bit of sun here.
Well, this is what we wanted, isn't it?
A little bit brighter, but it's not going to be enough really to... I can't see us changing to slicks at all. Oh, here we go. That's Zach Rattray White. He's dived off into the lane. So he moves out of 6th place.
And his previous lap was a 39.6, and he was the fastest car on track on that lap. So there is some speed for car 17 at the back end of the stint. Fuel will be dumped in. There's another car in pit lane, I think, just ahead of it. It was Andre Heimgartner. Sorry, my apologies. I'll ignore that one. It was in and around him. Oh, you can't take your eyes off the screen at the moment. I try to look away, grab some data, grab some read what's going on, and the race is just whizzing by. I've never heard these words from my producer ever before. Jay Kennedy, I don't know what to show you. His timing
down.
Are lining up like you wouldn't believe for Madison down. Brake lights lining up at the moment as he dives through. So he will cut his way to the head of this pack. Can he start to run him away? Can Sam Blacklock take advantage of a little bit of a change in this pack? And I tell you what, have a look at the track surface as well. Can you see that asphalt? The colour in it's changing.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. And just as we saw that, Sam Blacklock's got himself a little 5-second penalty as well. So that's obviously not ideal. Lap 12 of 29. Yeah, whole Mother Nature is playing the game here at the moment.
Is that Ryan Jones and Blake Warboys? Yeah, you betcha. Bottom dollar it is. Ryan Jones will hang on to running as deep into the race as he possibly can do.
Fed him.
I can tell you from experience a couple of weeks ago on Porsches, Ryan Jones and I had contact at that very corner. He will not back down, and he will use the hip and the shoulder on these race cars. But this time, Warboys gets to the inside. He's got command of that corner, and it's going to be very difficult for Jones to cut back at him. And different levels of tyres as well. Sam Blacklock and Madison down. Now they're cleared. Sorry, no, it's not Madison down. It's Brady Myers.
He had a moment. I think he shot across the grass.
I think Jay's finally decided what he is going to show us, and it is the weather. And there's a massive storm coming to finish this race off. Do you reckon we do 5 laps maybe on a slick tyre? Get a short burst out of it for any of the guys that haven't pit yet?
I'd love to see it, but it won't happen.
I'm just throwing alternate strategies, because if you get 5 laps on the tyre and change it out again, job's done, and you may have put together the fastest strategy, but you've got to nail it.
All I can say is thank goodness that you're not my crew chief, because if you told me to go out on slicks in this in the moment...
Right, I'm not talking right now. I'm saying like 3 or 4 laps time. We might be close. It's trending. I'm a positive man.
Oh no!
That is a bet right front, and that is damage. A car that is not going to be continuing much further into this mode of the race. That car will be done for the day for Brad Ratsu.
Oh, he's got a long way to go too to get back to the lane. He's going to do his absolute best. Hats off. He's just going to drive it around on the grass to get out of the way. But he's got massive damage. Like you said, that's night over. What's happened is he got wide, he's got sideways. Has he done it by himself? Yep, overcorrection. And bang, just an absolute passenger and destroyed that right front.
She's done, mate. Pack her up. We're going home.
Oh, is this going to be a safety car? Oh, he's trying to get back. He can't turn it. That's the problem he's got. And that's why he stopped, because he didn't want to go, because he's worried that he was going to clip one of those cars.
So the benefit is there's about 35 seconds or so behind him to the race leaders. So he's now cleared all the cars. He will have an opportunity to get this car back to pit lane. Oh, he's got to go through Blanchimont, the left-hander.
Yeah, he's still got a while to go. If I was one of these guys up front that haven't had a first round of pit stops, I'd be getting that over and done with shortly, because he's going to make it back to the lane. So we're not going to see safety car. But
is he?
Yeah, even if he goes through the gravel and the grass, he'll still be fine. He's staying off the racetrack. Well, just as we say that, he gets back on. But thankfully, he's got no one in the way.
So Blacklock was having a few moments and a few issues.
Oi!
And
got to help in hand.
He did. I think it's Rick Kuznetsov. It's none of those guys. It's actually Andre Yusuf. It's a different car. So he's had contact in the last 3 or 4 laps, Sam Blacklock, with 3 separate Vermilion cars. He's had contact with Rain Campbell, Rick Kuznetsov, and now Andre Yusuf as well. Ugh. That'll be a conversation for team managers afterwards.
How much longer till the leaders come in? Lap 13?
They can go about 24 laps on a full tank. Maximum. You know what? I'm just keeping an eye on a few different bits and pieces at the moment. And I can tell you that there is a grey line on the racetrack through Puon as Jared Philsell jumps to the lane.
I think even if you do start to get a little bit of a dry line, these wets will still hold up because you've got another band of rain coming. So there we go. So we know what the Lobs boys are doing.
And the racetrack is actually starting to fall off again.
Well, that'll be a bit of tyre life too. So lap 14. So they've been using up their tyre a little bit. But I think it's a good call. Get that first one over and done with and then run. So there we go. So Philsell out again.
The big thing is down that start-finish straight, and there are so many sections of this racetrack that are too treacherous. There are some sections you could absolutely go. In fact, I'd probably say it's about 60% of the racetrack is basically the crossover point at the moment. The problem's that other 40%. If that gets down to 10%, that changes. You will take risk for 10% of the racetrack to make it up for 90%.
Geez, if I was racing you and we were nose to tail, I wouldn't be brave enough.
Well, that's the thing. We're not driving at the moment, aren't we? It's so easy to say from up here, but we don't have to.
Yeah, I'm sticking with wets. I'm not even going anywhere near slicks. Look at this. It's just not worth it.
And the telling factor for me has always been the colour of the racetrack. If the colour of the racetrack changes and there is a car width around, I reckon about 80% of the racetrack is generally my marker.
But it's that
place the car.
That spray. If you start seeing that spray, that's a massive telltale too of just how much water's on the racetrack.
Yeah, but if you're incredibly accurate, remember that the difference between a dry lap around here is about 24 and a 39 is 15 seconds. So if it's 5 seconds faster a lap, that's gold. As Brady Myers is going to range up on Angus Lawford at the moment, they're going to go wheel to wheel.
Oh!
Well, talking about wheel to wheel, that was wheel to wheel. Very much so.
It's about as wheel as you get, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the right camera to show it as well. Be careful, boys. Those rims are in the real world car. You might be missing a few spokes out of them trading that much direct wheel-to-wheel contact at the moment. It's just challenging because the grip is changing every single lap as well.
And you know what it's like too, you get a little bit sideways and you get to build the temperature up in these tyres. You've got to sort of relax them. Here we go. So Damon Woods, he's in the lane. He saw that Philsell had done his pit stop. Didn't want to leave anything on the table, so Bettis has gone in as well. So it's Jones who's going to stay out, is she? Or is she going to follow suit?
So just waiting on two. Dylan Pereira and Emily Jones, the only two left to pit. And for Emily Jones, led laps in qualifying series, won races in the qualifying series, win and you're in was how she got here. Was it last year? The first time of asking, the first win and in ticket went to Emily Jones. This year she rode in on the back of a wildcard entry, but proving that she should be here. As she will, at this stage, look like she's going to lead a lap.
Oh. Philsell? So Bettis, yeah, Philsell just got in front of Bettis. So
that tyre and that speed laid on for Bettis, and he's only a short fill in the middle, which means his second pit stop's going to be longer. Look at that, 2 seconds gained.
I wondered what was happening because I was like, hold on. Philsell was a little bit too close for that encounter. So, yeah, rolled the dice with a little bit of strategy.
I think the thing will be from that little group of drivers as well is that, well, Bettis will be going, I'm quicker if I can get some clean air. And he was. He did have reasonable pace. So he'll be going, I'm going to beat them on the racetrack. That's how I'm going to get it done tonight. Sam Blacklock will be the first driver to pit lane to take his second of his compulsory required stops here tonight. And he will be betting on a wet tyre all the way home. If this dries up, he will be in trouble. But that storm, that second path of rain has passed overhead. The third one, it's got more in it. It's got a lot more in it.
Yeah, it's angrier, isn't it? And that's your concern.
In changeable. But think about, these guys have got speed underneath them at the moment. They've still got a wet tyre on, but the car feels good. It's pacey, it's rapid right now, but it's going to go off and go away from them again. And I think that's harder. Driving on a track that's improving, probably a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And for the moment, like you said, they've got their laps under the belt. They've got a feel for the car at the moment. So just watching these two different lines, I love it. And that's when the wet conditions come into it. And you get drivers that just try different racing lines. You've got the go-kart line around the outside, chasing that grip. I love it. And it's true to form in the iRacing series as well, because, you know, there is grip to be found out there. And boy, do you feel like Superman when you find that grip too, especially in these changeable conditions.
Thomas McMillan also a ticket in. Remember where he qualified into this series from Bathurst last year, and the golden ticket from the co-driver Clash. Respected for his abilities mainly at Bathurst, but at the moment he's showing it in the wet from Spa as well. Damon Woods back to the point. Emily Jones will dive to pit lane to clear her first stop of the night. And the problem will be being that last driver out there and isolated. If a safety car happens, she was vulnerable. That clears that problem. Look at the speed starting to come out of the cars now as well. Into the 38s with a fresh tyre on board.
Yeah, that's great.
And what about tyre temperature and pit stop time? Well, think about the length of the strategy, and playing into the strategy is how much heat and wear has gone into those tyres as well. Because the other side of that is you're going to be on these tyres for an extended period of time. Did some drivers leave tyres on to maintain temperature? Well, they're cooking at the moment with that line right there. See that drying line? They will be starting to cook. And that spray is definitely lessened. Look at it. Nobody's searching for a bit of temperature at the moment. None of them are going for puddles.
Yeah, well, you say
There's
that,
one.
and then that's,
Yep.
yeah.
Stay with this shot. We need to stay with this shot, and I've got a really good reason for it. Emily Jones, just keep an eye on this one. Watch what's about to hit our camera lens right there.
Yep.
Rain returns. That final band of cloud is here. And this will be with us to the end of the race, you would assume.
She's struggling a little bit.
That's cold tire.
So I reckon she's just trying to get that temperature back in the tyres, because she's just struggling to bring that up to temperature. And that's Jake Burton right behind her. And he's going to pounce too, I think. Yeah. Oh, think better of it. Be smart, Jake.
If that one turned to custard.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
It's hard enough being teammates sometimes. What about living together?
Oh. No, he thought better of it. And Emily's got about another half a lap or so, and then she'll be okay. It's just that initial out lap. Oh. I tell you what, she's lucky that it's a teammate and that it's Jake behind her, because other proper drivers would probably pounce. And that's just that sketchy moment that you just got to go through, bringing that temperature back up into this new set of tyres. She'll be okay in the next half a lap or so, but it's just always sketchy on that out lap.
The challenge of managing that with a teammate right there who wants to get by, because they know their best opportunity to get it done is right now.
Oh, is he thinking about a move? He is, up the inside. No. He thinks better of it. No. Oh, they're still going to have a go. It's good racing, great racing, and they're both flying the flag for TTR.
And they are the best of the Trans-Tasman drivers at the moment as well. The only ones inside the top 10 Yeah, Maloney's trying to range up on them. Hayden Veld, known as a little bit of a mystery in the wet. Whether or not he'll be able to show the pace, he's got the ability to. Just hasn't been able to extract it. And there's, yeah, okay, now Emily's got the tyre back up to temperature. That looks a lot more set. And if you have a look, already starting to make time towards Thomas McMillan as well.
Yeah, it's always sketchy, that first lap or so. But she's doing good. Oh, look at up front, Damon Woods and Jared Filsell. Just as we say that, the director has been right all over it. 0.7, though this is the closest it's been all night, and Jared is on the charge.
Well, at the moment, this one's still starting to build towards a climax. At this point in time, Emily Jones is right with Thomas McMillan. McMillan's made a couple mistakes, and we probably need to go back to that battle because this one is coming. It certainly is on the radar, much like the rain. But it's not quite here yet. What about lap traffic as well, just trying to circulate and keep their night alive?
And don't forget that a lot of these drivers and teams still have to make a second pit stop. We can see the highest of the two-place pit stops is Wayne Burke in 13th. He's had 2 trips down pit lane. So all these guys up front, guys and girls with Emily, they still need to make their second pit stop.
It's actually really, really interesting because we're talking about pit stop lengths before. Well, the pit stop length between our front two is massively different. So that margin has closed significantly for Jared Filsell right now. Transition through the pit lane 1.7 seconds quicker in terms of fuel offload. That was actually 1.2 seconds quicker, actually, through the lane. So Damon Woods made a gain through the pit lane. So of that... Just heard something in our ear, and Jared Filsell has been noted, and we don't know what the go is. That's the replay right there. Cutting the course and gaining an advantage. There was a lasting gain there. You can see how much closer the cars are together. But that's never... Cutting the course and gaining an advantage and an overtake, that normally gets reviewed. But he just skipped that whole last corner.
But wouldn't there be an iRacing? There'd be a slowdown penalty for that, surely.
Well, okay, so here's the gif that comes with that one, is that the slowdown penalties clear themselves massively quicker in the wet weather. Because you're going slower.
Well, Scotty, this is why I like being in the commentary box, mate. I don't want to be in the hot seat. Oh, Woods! Almost threw it away. He's got Filsell now having a red hot go. The pressure is now building on Woods. He's got Jared Filsell hungry. He's going to dive up the inside. He's taken the lead up the inside of Damon Woods.
Into the back bar. Still into the back bar. Still making contact. Now they'll come to the turn with no name. And Filsell touches the curb and runs wide. But he goes around the outside. Now it's the run down to Pouon. They are going to beat doors. They are going to bang panels. All the way into Pouon. Woods is on the inside. He's on the dryer line on entry, and Filsell is forced to play second fiddle at this point in time. Update from the stewards. Rule 3.9.12.1. So they've gotten the rule book out, and they've absolutely noted it to the drivers. Black and white flag. He won't be able to do it again, and it's been noted. This is further dramas as well. This is and Jones. Please don't. They did.
Oh, it almost took out their other teammate as well.
I'm not touching that one. I will leave the team to handle in-house. There is no... And an in-house as well.
Maloney almost got cleaned up in it as well. Well, someone's in the doghouse tonight.
Yeah, not touching that one at all. Yeah, look, you can do the report on that one from inside the camp next time out, Sandman, because I guarantee that will be spoken about. But for the meantime, race lead. Where's Betes in all this? He's only 3 seconds in the rear view. Gilliam's starting to close, but he's 8.5 back. Betes is going to arrive on the scene. I reckon, could you imagine if Ryan Betes crawls his way up to these guys and then just goes, yep, second stop time, boys, see you later.
Oh, did he pit? He pitted.
There he is, yep.
Yep. So, yep, he's got that second pit stop. 11 laps to go. He's going to clear this second lane.
They've got to be smart about this. So you want to put Tyres on. If you're going to take tyres, they're going to be cold before that rain thups down. Get it out of the way now. If you are taking another set, Phil Sell. Oh. There's risks. There is a lot of risk being taken right now by the best in the country. Damon Woods over the last couple of years has been noted for his ability, for his talent in GT3 cars, in World IMSA. Goes head-to-head with the likes of Max Verstappen, Phil Sell, Brody Kostecki on his side. Shane Van Gisbergen works with them as well. One of the best in this land in a supercar.
Oh.
This is the changing of the guard and the changing of talent. Young versus old.
Oh.
Phil Sell won't believe he's in his later years on the positive side of 30 at this point in time. Damon Woods in his young 20s. We've seen them come and go over the years in Australian sim racing, but this is what it looks like.
Oh, it's a great battle. I'm just caught up in watching it. I forgot that I got a job here. I'm just watching it and taking it all in. This is such a good battle between Woods and Phil Sell. And they've got a little bit of traffic. You can see one of the TTR cars up there in front there. So they have to be, be careful with that. But I think Andre will be smart. He'll get out of the way.
By the way, the gap back to Andrew Gilliam has dropped by over a second. That's Jake Maloney dodging Emily Jones.
Oh, God. So no doubt Andre will get out of the way of this battle. He's a couple of laps down, or more than a couple of laps down, but definitely not a contender.
If you've spoken to any of the TTR guys over the last couple of years, and it's something I made an effort to do, what's your race prep? What's that sort of stuff look like? Well, they go racing with each other. And they generally are happy to bang doors, beat panels, and challenge each other because you become a better driver for doing it. That's a lapped car. Andre Heimgartner jumps out of the way for Damon Woods. So he's got a really good car control through the Fania, through Curva Paul Frere, and the run up to Blanchimont. Have a look at how dry that groove is right here. But it's narrow, it's thin, and then it's gone on the exit here, and then it opens up again. Right. But the rain is going to continue to come down from the heavens. 10 laps to go. Next time by the stripe. And this is the fastest the racetrack is going to be. Ryan Bettes snuck off to pit lane at the end of the last lap. He would have popped back out and he'll be looking for some speed at the moment. These guys have cost each other about a second to Andrew Gilliam. If it keeps going in that direction, Ryan Bettes, you mentioned it, 15 laps ago, he'll be in with a shot of victory. He is legitimately a chance at winning this race. Gilliam sets the fastest lap, immediately broken by Zach Rattray White, and Rattray White says, at the same time, I'm going to steal fourth spot. Here comes car 17.
Then Rosella takes it back off him. So it's here we go. It's got tasty here. So Phil Sell's now got the position. He's now leading. Would have been tricky up through there, through a Rouge. And I think he had a bit of a wiggle, and that's probably why Damon Woods is now P2.
Wayne Burke, also 11th spot at the moment, snuck off to pit lane to get his second service out of the way. Jake Burton will now do the same. So here they all start to come through pit lane. Is it going to be tyres? Is it going to be bolting a cold set of wets on before we get to the final downpour, the deluge, and the mistake from Damon Woods up and over the curb? Look at the pace Phil Sell just carried. But keep your eyes on him in the bottom right-hand corner because they are still at each other. And Phil Sell again rides the curb. On the way in there, he doesn't want to bite in the front end whilst you got your right rear on that wet curb.
Woods has got great pace, hasn't he?
But the pit stop, the big thing is these guys don't need to fight each other at the moment because the pit stop for Damon Woods, it's over a second faster. He's going to get this spot back after this final pit stop.
Yeah, but if you can put pressure on Phil Sell too, if Phil Sell makes a little bit of a mistake, that's going to work in your favour as well too. So it's always hard. You can't slow down a racer, especially if they're in a position where they're having a great battle and they know that there's a chance of a win. But still a little bit to play out. And don't forget, you don't want to wish this on anyone, but what if they get a pit lane speeding penalty or something like that goes wrong? You know, if you overshot your mark in the pit box and you have to pull reverse and give away a crucial second or two there, that could be a killer. So there's still so much to play out.
And worthwhile thinking about, we've got about 25 minutes worth of racing left. If you are thinking about taking a loo break, if you have hot popcorn in the microwave and you haven't thought about going and grabbing it, go and do it right now. Jake Burton, 10-second penalty, contact with Emily Jones in car 51.
Wow, look, it had to happen. Yeah. if you make nose to tail contact, it's usually the car that's behind is normally the one that's going to get the penalty. So, yeah. Look, that's what it is. Do the crime, you got to do the time, unfortunately.
If it was in retro white shoes, I'd be sneaking off into pit lane. Don't fight with the car. You don't need to. You know that you've got pace on him.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get past him here. Up the
Again,
inside.
He'll get down the inside, but this happened last lap. And yet, Rosella was ahead. No, this time he's going to fox him out and keep him on the outside. Yeah, a little bit smarter. Just foxed him in, gave him no opportunity. Fans watching along at home. How good is this wet weather stuff? Ryan,
seriously.
new fastest lap of the race. Have you got that? That is crucial.
That's new tyres too.
That is a note to these guys at the front. You've got to be smart about this at this point in time. How much quicker was it? Well, Bethesda ran at 37.3. The last lap, he took 1.5 seconds out of our race leaders.
Yeah. So he's got fresh tyres, clear racetrack, and now he's got temperature in them too. So we saw the struggles that Emily had on camera when she came out on new tyres. Oh, Woods has just had a bit of a moment there, just understeered a little bit, still stayed on the racetrack, but just that struggle that Emily had, just trying to build that temperature back into the tyre. So Bettis doesn't have to worry about that now. His tyres are perfect with 9 laps to go, and everyone around him still has to make a pit stop. TTR decided it's time for a pit stop. Myers down and staying. They're all in.
Well, 3 TTR. No, sorry, my apologies.
Oh, no way.
Eclipse car and 2 TTR cars going toe-to-toe.
No.
Jake Maloney, Hayden Veldt, and Craig Burton, elbows.
Oh.
Forced to just take the run off here. It wasn't enough room to the edge of the racetrack, and that will be Hayden Veldt's comment in all of this. Who's the car that pops themselves on the back end? It's Lachlan Capel. And he will be just thinking, I've got to get on with my race. I've got a job to do here. 3 cars ahead of him have done their final pit stop of the night. He's got 1 to go. Again, think about where you are in the race. Don't bite into it unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, I wonder how much longer it's going to be for the likes of Full Sail, Woods, Gilliam, for them all to have that last pit stop over and done with. We cross the line, it's going to be 8 laps to go this time by.
Surely someone dives in here. You're just handing Ryan Bettis a free kick. No, neither
Woods,
of them.
No. I was hoping Woods would, but no. Gilliam. Oh, he's got that lap car. Is that Heimgartner again? Yes, he has. He's played it differently. He's gone in.
Yeah, that's smart. From Zach Retro White, he's going to dive in. Andrew Gilliam's playing a different card, so Gilliam will be playing relative to Ryan Betts. This will be his target race car at this point in time. And that last step on the podium, we're going to see a dogfight for the race lead. It's going to see a dogfight here on racetrack as well.
This is Veld, Maloney, Burton. Of course, Burton's got that penalty hanging over his head now.
Oh, look at the cars squirming on the run into Blanchimont. Maloney, Burton, Veld, all into the bus stop, nose to tail once more. Everyone's trying to look for the best way through. Try and get powered down. Capel feeds off. He has a pit stop left to do. So again, just using your head a little bit.
So Bettis has got 3 seconds on Gilliam at the moment too. So again, his tyres are up to temperature. So that margin will just open out just that tiny bit more. Look at the visibility. Look how grey and foggy and misty it's getting in this part of the racetrack. And this is where that rain is really starting to come down. We're probably almost in that harder section on the radar. We haven't seen that for a little while, but we were going to expect a little bit of harder rainfall. But how good's the racing been? Like, we haven't seen a safety car.
Track condition got away to very lightly wet, and now it's come back to lightly wet. And it's probably going to continue increasing from here. We've now hit that second band of heavy rain. And there's no way it's finishing before the end of this race. It's continuing to build again. They're all going to go nose to tail into Lacombe.
It's getting darker and heavier. So that's what they've got to finish. That's probably how they're going to finish. Oh, getting on the power there. It's not going to move up the inside, Maloney. Oh, they're going to give each other that little bit of room. Great racing from these guys. Oh, a little bit of contact. Burton's right there. Oh, Oh, you want to be on the outside, get the power down. Oh, not too wide though. Oh, Burton will stag him.
He will. He just get that spot away from Maloney, and now that gives him first dibs on having a crack at Haydenveld. All of these guys have made their final stop of the night. They will be racing each other to the end of this one, except for Jack Burton's got that 10-second penalty hanging over his head, so he is effectively not racing for this one. Jared Philsell dives to the lane to make his final stop of the night. Damon Woods is going to hang around for another lap or so.
Okay.
Car
tell you what.
56, back to the race lead. Luke Rosella's in. The Lubs guys are going to serve their final stops of the night. 7 to go. Jake Burton is throwing the kitchen sink at Haydenveld at this point in time.
Oh, if I was Maloney, I'd be like, all right, Burton, come on, hurry up. You've got 10 seconds penalty hanging over your head. I don't need to be held up by you. I know it's hard with teammates, but he either needs to get the job done on Hayden or let him pass.
The headlights. The only point of reference through the gloom, through the spray. We saw the brake lights. We saw the rain light from the rear. Once more into the bus stop. Veld's got the primary line. A little bit drier. Him offline. This time Burton runs deep. Yield it, buddy. Yield it. No, he's going to fight it all the way out. So he's not making any friends for himself tonight.
He's got position. No, he's got position now. So that's all right. So what Maloney needs to do is just eyes forward and not worry about Burton and just chase down Veld. So Philsell now going through that warm-up stage now.
I do reckon.
Still got a couple of seconds, so it's 3 seconds between him and Ryan.
Robbie Gibbs disconnected. DNF will not score points tonight.
No
that
way.
Is just going to throw that one. But none of the Chiefs of cars have looked good tonight at all, have they?
Oh, P2 coming into tonight in the championship too. Oh, Philsell. Now, you would imagine that Woods would be in this time by. You don't want to probably leave it too much longer where Philsell's out on track because he's going to go through that tyre warm-up stage too. I don't know. I'm not a very good crew chief, but if it was me, I'd probably get Woods to come in this time by.
How about Ratchet White running all the way to the back of Andrew Gilliam now as well? So these guys are going to play it smart.
Zach's had pace all night too. He's carved his way up through the field.
He was that big improver on the last lap of qualifying when the track just barely improved at the back end of the session.
Yeah, jumped from 17th to 7th. Like, that was just massively crucial. And now he's got himself here with a chance, chasing down P4. And if anything goes to custard in front of him, he might be looking at the podium.
But Woods is going to dive in. I got an opportunity to chat to Dylan Shepherd, who's in charge of One Performance Racing, a couple months ago, doing some Porsche Cup racing, just chatting to him. What's going on? How's things coming together? Motec deal came up. Everything was starting to look like it was all coming together, looking hunky-dory. And Zach Ratchet White trying to have a go at Andrew Gilliam.
He wanted to go for the inside, but Gilliam was smart to that.
Now he's going to try and roast it back underneath him. But I tell you what, he had overlap in the middle of that bust-up chicane. Here comes Damon Woods out of pit lane. Philsell's going to come around the outside on the source. Where's he going to have? Drive off the corner here.
Yep. So he's got margin, but watch that because that's going to change a little bit. Obviously, we talk about it again, the warm-up stage for the tyres. So it's 2.1 seconds at the moment. It's just nice and easy for him.
Yeah, he's got to bring him in, and that rain is starting to really come down. Ratchet White and Andrew Gilliam in behind these guys. They're going to go toe-to-toe. Ratchet White just went around the outside across the top of Eau Rouge Radion. That is going to need a replay. He went around the outside of him, up and over the crest. Found drive, found purchase, went and got that position, but in a straight line, it's equalised. They're back together. Andrew Gilliam is going to go for it around the outside. This is the fourth that's not through a podium. Elbows him into the puddle.
He's got it back.
So Gilly hangs on. This could be these guys foxing. If Ratchet White can't get through here, he doesn't have a shot at getting to best and sneaking his way onto the podium. So this is critical for where these guys' nights end up. Gilliam's going to finish fourth or fifth. Check this out. This is wild. Watch this.
Oh, you see Gilliam just run a little bit wide. Oh, my goodness. That is brilliant racing from both of them, just to give each other just enough real estate, and those cars twitching around and having those wet, slippery conditions. Hats off to both those guys. That was really first class from Gilliam and Rattray White. Oh, it's under a second now. Woods and Phil Cell.
Is this the tyre warm-up phase, though? Is he taking a fresh set as well? If so,
absolutely.
he's going to get through this lap. And there was a little bit of contact between those two back at Road Atlanta as well. Remember, here comes Rattray White, gets to the inside. Now they are going to lean on each other. Gilly's on the outside, which is the dry part of the racetrack to here. Now NRW gets up the inside. There's another drawback out on the curb. Both of them still searching for traction. Rattray White's the shorter way around the racetrack, and he's through to fourth. But now he's got to survive up and through the crest. Blanchemont is going to be white lined. It is going to be challenging for the pair of these guys. From the outside of the racetrack, Rattray White will tip in.
Oh, Gilliam!
White all the way through. Neither of them keeps it on the real estate through Blanchemont. But he needs to hang on this. He's looking at third. Time is running out. 6 to go. 6 to go. Gilly has thrown everything at him. He's got nothing left. And Rattray White is now looking down the barrel of having a crack at Ryan Betes for a podium. A guy who's got nothing to lose for Ryan Betes. He will want a podium after getting through. Earlier on, he might have just played quiet. He might have just kept it under the surface. But he has one hand on that podium right now, and you can bet your bottom dollar the man is going to come out fighting if Rattray White gets here. You thought Gilly was a tough pass. This will be a tougher one.
I see both those guys just kept their foot in it. Those cars sideways. That was so cool. But what they need to do is the likes of Phil Cell, Gilliam, they need to think about the big picture, because championship battle, Gilliam who's leading this as we go to the OG Gear replay. This is Veldon Maloney. Maloney's going to try around the outside. Oh, no real estate. Did he cut a little bit there?
Oh, no, we need to go the race lead. We need to go the race lead. They're into each other. Down the hill at the moment, just ahead of Ryan Betes.
Oh, he's got him.
We need another replay of that one, because they were into each other the whole way into that corner. They were elbowed out. They were both on the anchors and sliding. And there was contact the whole way down the hill. Check this out.
Well, that's Phil Cell in behind Woods. He looks to the inside, so he tries to cover a little bit. Oh, he puts Jared into the grass. And Jared says, well, I've got to get back on the black stuff, mate. You can't just leave me out here hanging. And he's just pushed himself back onto the racetrack. Fair call, though. He was getting shoved out into the grass. So there was overlap, and that's why they made contact.
Andre Heimgartner and Marcelo Rivera just in front of these guys again. Both of those got way off the pace at the moment. They're just looking to finish the race, so they will jump out of the way. But Phil Cell will want it as soon as physically possible, and Andre does. He gets it done and drops back in. This is Madison down with more issues deeper down in the field, but it is on.
Now we're hearing that
go ahead.
This might be under review, that little battle between Phil Cell and Woods. So the race controller just having a look at that. But what I was getting to before all that broke out is that the likes of Gilliam and Phil Cell, they need to be smart about, and Rosella as well, because everyone else in the championship battle coming into tonight have all had problems or are way down the pack. So the likes of Gilliam and Phil Cell and Rosella might find themselves first, second, third coming out tonight. Who knows?
Still not done between these two. Back nose to tail. And look at that rain. It is getting dark out on track now. Betes is starting to track him back down again. He took a second out of him on that lap.
Woods. Oh,
got him.
Put his nose to tail there. And look at that. We're in that dark zone on the radar. So this is where the heaviest rain that we're going to see all night is going to happen in the last 4 laps.
Fastest laps of the day. The track has now fallen 3 seconds off. Fastest lap of the day is going to go to Ryan Betes. That is not going to be taken away from him. So if that's the only positive note on the night, if he doesn't get this podium put together, he will have a fastest lap of the day. That is one thing he can lock in. The track is getting wetter. What it tells us now is still lightly wet. It hasn't moved to moderately, but it is certainly on its way. The puddles are getting bigger. The grey of the asphalt has gone away. It's now back to dark. Have a look at the line as they crawl their way to the crest of the hill. Turn it in. Stay off the puddle. Try and put that power down. There's puddles on edge, and everywhere you try and place this car, you have to think about wet. You have to think about where the marbles are, where the dry stuff is. Oh, and you've got to try and put the horsepower to the road at the same time. It is not easy at all. Another replay is going to come our way as well, ladies and gents. Ryan Jones and Kurt Stenberg.
Stenny's coming from a long way back. What's happening here? No, it wasn't a dive up the inside. Oh, he's got in there deep, and he's just made contact. Oh. And the hard bit for Stenny is that he would have known as soon as he got on the brakes, he was like, oh, I don't know, this thing's going to pull up. And you can't do anything more. If you push that brake pedal any harder, you're going to lock the tyre and fire into the car anyway. So tried his absolute best, but unfortunately there was contact, so that might be a penalty coming Stenny's way.
Yeah. And he'll have to try and handle it. And not much more he can do. For Zach Rattray wide, I think he's going to run out of time before he tracks down Ryan Bettest. Last time by, he took on 0.3 of a second, so I think he's going to finish in P4, but he's got comfort room now over Andrew Gilliam. Just not quite able to maintain that speed as the track started to go away. Damon Woods is not disappearing in the rearview mirror. You can just see them up the road from Ryan Bettest. Oh, what he'd love to see those guys swap paint as he struggles to keep it on the road at Blanchemont.
Well, that's just it. You think about what could happen if Phil and Woods come together. He could be gifted a race win here. He could do a Bradbury. But it wasn't a terrific night for Ryan.
Great job. Lots of wet prep for sure for car number 13. Like I was saying before, shuttered Shep out. Hang on. We've got more information for you. Remember earlier on in the night, the rule and the text was quoted. And there was track limits in question earlier on in the night. Now it's been sent back to the stewards with just a catch of the car as he went to tip it into Blanchemont. He was going to skate wide, I don't think, no matter what. But once he knew he was skating wide, well, he just went throttle up. I'll just take that one. There's not much more I can do. But race control are being asked the question about track limits now.
Yeah, that one's tricky because it is in a sketchy part of the racetrack. He obviously did get sideways and sort of had a little bit of a wiggle. But I mean, if he's put it lap after lap, I guess that's yeah, exactly. That's where the question will be.
And he's already been warned is the other thing. They're watching it, they're aware of it, and they've warned him. So, whereas Damon Woods hasn't gotten a warning for any abuse of limits or anything at the moment, and it will be something that will be debated at length by the community. I've seen comments already coming our way. People care about this sort of stuff, Stairman. And remember, Phil Sell lost this race to James Scott a couple of years back with a post-race penalty.
Dear.
Don't make it two. Could you imagine?
I'd forgotten about that, but you mentioned it. Obviously, you did bring it up at the start of the broadcast, but that part had slipped my mind just now. Geez, you don't want to lose another one. But look, let's not count our chickens just yet. Oh, how's this move?
Chickens as Lachlan Capel, I think that's Brady Myers going toe-to-toe.
Got him.
Up over Blanchemont. Gets the job done. Now he'll have to try and settle in, and Myers will try and harass on the way through to Lacombe.
Oh, man. Myers was holding on to that. You can skip arm day at the gym tomorrow. Forget that. Don't need that. I think everyone here tonight, they can skip arm day tomorrow because you just see the wheel work that they have to contend with in these conditions.
We caught up with Lachlan Capel a couple of months back in March and so he's a skinny, tiny little fella. There's not much meat on him. It gets a workout on board these things. But the big thing is, I think tonight, the fans have been the winner. We've been the winner here in the commentary box. I would not want to be out of there on the racetrack. I think crew chiefs and spotters have been worked overtime. I think there's going to be a few discussions that come out of it. How good, though, the racing that we've had this year has challenged everybody from driver to steward to engineer about how you go about it. I've heard whisperings of lack of dissatisfaction and you know, disharmony and those sorts of things, but it means that people care. There's a bit of passion in it.
Yeah, and everyone wants to win. And look, at the end of the day, no one's assured guarantee in this series because we can just see, you know, these conditions, it really levels the playing field. Like, Jared hasn't had it easy, no stretch of the imagination. Damon Woods right there. The night that Ryan Bettis has had, just brilliant. And that all came down to qualifying. Put together an amazing qualifying, but don't take the race result away from him because he's done everything right P3 at the moment, and he's kept the car on the black stuff. He's kept the car straight, hasn't got himself in any silly situations. And these conditions are treacherous, no doubt about that. So when you can walk away with a P3 like that, what Ryan's doing at the moment, it's something to hang your hat on, in this, especially with this quality of field of drivers.
If you think this stuff is easy by any stretch of the imagination, Sam, you know what it's like. You've been getting out there and amongst it of late recently. It's certainly not. And an issue for Tom Freer. Yeah, the track's getting worse. That's the heavy rain. He just couldn't pull the car up anymore.
It's not even easy to go in the corner.
Nah.
Yep.
You know, the only difference to this in the real world, that would have been a pile of mud that he just drove through and would have dragged back onto the track.
Filled up the radiator with grass and guck and everything else, but imagine that comes to iRacing, hey? Now, that's something I think the devs need to think about, is when you cut through the grass in those muddy conditions, you block up your radiator, hey? Something to think about.
Well, oh no, Zach Rattray White's just run wide. So he was starting to track Ryan Bettis down. I was actually just about to talk about it. And I went to jump to him, and he's just run off the road. So he was tracking Ryan Bettis down. That is going to be put paid. It was down to about 1.5 seconds. It's now out over 3. So all Bettis has got to do is put this last lap together. But I don't know if you've noticed, but the puddles are growing everywhere. 2 laps left to run. It's less than 1.5. By the time we get back here, look at the moment he had the brakings, and it was all locked up, caught it. Just.
Soon as he touched that brake pedal, that thing snapped on him. So he just steered it to the gravel trap and got going again. So lost a bit of ground. I think now he just needs to concentrate and make sure that Gilliam doesn't snaffle him. So I think he'll be okay. But here we go. Last lap, Jared Filsell.
For one final time from Spa, the rain has made its way into the series for 2026. We saw it in the lightest elements last time out at Road Atlanta. Well, when we go to the longest racetrack on the calendar, it comes down in droves. The boys have been challenged tonight. Look at the spread that we had from qualifying. It was massive amounts. We have never had a qualifying whereby a second hasn't even covered the top 10. For the final time through Rouge and Radion, and Jared Filser will light it up out the other side. First little bit of treachery bypassed. There's a question mark over track limits. We haven't heard anything. There's been no further comment on that. So I would say it's probably okay for now. But for Damon Woods, he wants a win in this series. He really, really wants to challenge for it. He had a big slide into Lacombe on that occasion. For Ryan Bettis, when opportunity showed itself, he put the lap together. There was only one lap that mattered in qualifying. It was the very, very first one. For One Performance Racing, they will be sitting on the sidelines waiting to celebrate with their driver. For Dylan Shepherd and the crew back there, for everyone out there, they will be banging that drum and celebrating everything Ryan Bettis has achieved. Not known for necessarily the biggest, the most splashy and speedy outfit in supercars trim. They're normally known a little bit more for GT racing, a little bit more for Porsche. And that's why this one will mean so much. Filser looks comfortable now. He looks like it's got it all glued together. It's going to take a massive mistake from here. And with conditions changing, you won't lock it in.
Yeah, braver man than either to say that he's got it in the bag, but it's obviously looking good. He's only got this last section of racetrack to go. He's got no one around him. But it's been a great drive. Both these guys, Filser and Woods, have put on an absolute clinic. It's been great racing. It's been tough racing, but it's what you expect out of our Logitech G series. And Filser will make the charge now to take round number 3 here at Spa. It's been a great drive. Oh, he's wide again. Stewards don't want to see that. But anyway.
Well, they'll ask the question because they'd be silly not to at this point in time. And they have been asking the question all night long. For Jared Filsell, for the final corner at Circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. He is going to get it done. What does that do to the Series Championship? What does that do for the standings? For Damon Woods, he threw the kitchen sink at it. But the man that is going to get celebrated for every single opportunity, for Ryan Bettis, welcome to the podium in Logitech V8 Pro Invitational, my friend. Welcome to the podium. You earned that one tonight.
Yeah, drive of the night. That was really good. He'd be absolutely stoked with that. Still racing here with Maloney and Veld. Is Veld going to think about a last dive here? He's probably a little bit too far back. So Maloney will hold on to P9 and Veld will round out your 10. They say the rain's a great equaliser, and I think that's exactly what we've seen tonight. It's been brilliant. And no safety cars. In these conditions, as horrible as they've been, we didn't see one safety car. So that's a hat off to all these drivers. Oh, so I say that. They're going to squabble here for 29th and 30th. So Stenny's lost a spot there. I think he's got a penalty hanging over his head as well. So Chastanoff has got past him. And unfortunately, Stenny's got 10 seconds that he's going to have to serve after the race. So a night that he'll want to forget. But they're not giving up, just having that last-ditch effort to the line.
Yeah, and they'll run all the way up to Blanchimont. Ryan Jones is the back car in all of this. All of it running wide at Blanchimont.
Oh, Stenny. Oh, big spin behind too.
Who was that? That was a massive incident.
Was that Yusuf?
Matthew Bowler's gone around in all of that as well. And there's another car. It was Brad Newman, I thought Lob's car was looking for through all the spray. Andre Yusuf had issues. And Kurt Stenberg will get 40 seconds added to his post-race time for instant point limit. That'll be post-race drive-through added to his time. Unfortunately for him, all for naught. Challenging prospect. Look at how wet it's gotten in the last couple of laps out there on the sides of the puddle. When was the last time you could say Bo Albert just struggled so badly tonight? Oh, he's gonna nearly put him on the fence.
Oh, he saved her. That was a hell of a save. Brilliant job there from Bo. But you're right. You know, he's had an absolute putrid night and just fighting it all the way to the checkered flag.
All of those cars did. All of the Chiefs cars. They just were struggle city. Where did Dylan Rudd finish after all that? Rudd 22nd was the best of the Chiefs cars. 22nd. Yeah, Bo's had enough.
Yeah, he's like, forget it. Get me out of here.
He's not enjoying it. The thing about Bo Albert is he's taken on this new partnership and he tried qualifying for the Porsche series. When was the last time you saw Bo Albert fail to qualify for something when he put his heart in mind? He just couldn't get the car. It just wouldn't work for him. So he just went, yep, no, okay, I'm going to take a back seat, focus on V8s, and then you have a night like that. So, gee whiz, what a night. What an absolute night. Mate, the hardest part about all this commentating stuff is that in the middle of that, you just sit there and you're like, I just want to talk about how great it is, all the little mistakes, but hang on, professional standards can't do that. Jared Filser's going to get it done from Damon Woods by 0.6 of a second in the wet at Spa. And have a look at that river at the bottom of Eau Rouge. That nearly cleared up at one point in the middle of the race. It is back and back with a vengeance. From Ryan Bettes, and he will celebrate that one like nothing else. Zach Rattray White nearly got there, drove through the field, gained a bunch of spots to get home in P4. Andrew Gilliam, Luke Rosella, Thomas McMillan. So 3 Lobs cars in a row, 5th through to 7th. Thomas McMillan actually gained a whole bunch of spots. Really, really good drive from T-Mac. Wayne Burke, Jake Maloney, and Hayden Veld round out the 10. Outside of that 10, though, we get back into a little bit murkier waters. Jake Burton will pick up a 10-second penalty, which will drop him 2 spots conveniently in behind Emily Jones. So that one will effectively get redressed, but might have put a dampener on relationships there. That'll certainly have to be covered. He cannot not talk about that one. There'll be a big sorry and whatever he can do to try and reset that. Blake Warboys from Emily Jones, Jacob O'Reilly, Ryan O'Sullivan, 14th spot in qualifying for Sully, only home in 15th for him. Lachlan Capel, Brent Hobson, Brady Myers, Josh Horton, and Madison Down. And we'll have a moment to talk about something that's just popped through post-race. Josh Anderson from Dylan Rudd, but there is an important point to note for Dylan Rudd. 1 pit stop of the compulsory 2 served. I think that's a DQ on that one, so he will not be the best of the Chiefs drivers, which will mean that Bo Albert will actually be the best of the Chiefs drivers in 40. Oh, sorry, my apologies. James Scott's the other one in 26. He will be the best of the Chiefs drivers. Sam Blacklock will get promoted 1 spot. Matt Cirelli, Lawford. They both fell through the field after a strong qualifying performance from Project 36. Kuznetsov in behind James Scott, 26th and 27th. James Chastanoff, Ryan Jones, and Andre Yusuf home in 30th. outside the 30, we get back to the misery and commiserations. Adam Briggs, we saw that moment on lap 1 for him, unfortunately, from Brad Newman. Rain Campbell didn't quite manage to keep it together. Matt Bowler, Tom Freer looked all at sea tonight, unfortunately for him. In 35th spot, Wayne Walker, Daniel Poulton, Kurt Stenberg, Dylan Pereira, Bo Albert, 40th. Outside of the 40, Bo Albert was the last car on the lead lap. Filippo Akita, 1 lap down. Andre Heimgartner did finish, as did Rivera. They will both score points. Ratu only managed to go 4 laps down somehow, so he will score points. Robbie Gibbs, the only non-point scorer, that is going to kill his points total after tonight. That is horrendous for Robbie Gibbs.
Came in P2 in the points. Only 20 points behind Gilliam, who was our championship leader coming into tonight. So no points is going to hurt him and slip him right down the order. So that's that's a shame. He'll be bleeding about that one.
Righto, 3 interviews to get through, and I reckon we go to the one that is going to be celebrated the most. We'll start at the bottom of the totem and work our way up. Driver of car number 13, driver for One Performance Racing, Ryan Bettes. How have the celebrations kicked off for you this evening?
Oh, mate, I'm ecstatic. I had my nerves those last 3 laps with ZRW chasing me down. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous.
Mate, I tell you what, you were going to be watching that replay back, but first and foremost, it all started. There was 1 lap in qualifying. How close were you to running off on that first lap? Where was the risk taken? And did you think that the lap was going to be that good?
I didn't think it was that good, and I was pretty close to going off. I think I lost like 0.7, I think it was. Like the next lap was like green, those last 2 corners, so I'm pretty disappointed, but obviously I'm happy, P3 against these guys. I'm like amazed.
Well, mate, that would have been good enough for pole position, but we won't talk about that because you might be kicking yourself all the way through. Right. In terms of the challenge for this year, obviously Daniel Poulton's the only ally you've got here in terms of V8 supercars. He had troubles and issues tonight, but I guarantee with a wide breadth of help there at the team, how much support have you been picking up, particularly the fact that you guys have got Motec on those cars for 2026?
Yeah, they've been really well with their program that they've allowed us to use. It's been really interesting looking at the data and set up how we can change the setup and stuff like that. It's really cool. They're really good guys to work with. Shep's been messaging them here and there, so good contact, good communication with them and us at the moment. So yeah, really good with them.
Mate, challenges are coming thick and fast. Obviously, the Enduros are only 2 races away. Are you looking and feeling comfortable in terms of co-drivers at the moment? What's it looking like? Because that's a big haul of points that you've managed to pull away from here from Spa. That's going to catapult you through the standings. Big endurance races have been big things for getting that last couple spots for a guaranteed seat for the next year in the Enduros of the last couple of years. So getting things right for that endurance calendar is critical.
Yeah, I've got a couple names in mind. I've got 2. Won't say them just as of yet, but I'm really keen for Enduros. I feel like in another series that we done last year, I felt like I done pretty well. So I'm really keen for Enduros.
Mate, go off, celebrate with the friends, crack open a few brews. Who would you like to give a thank you and a shout out to? Because I can tell you that you've had a wealth of support in the chat. Everyone was over the moon to see you coming home in P3. So there's got to be a long list of shout outs, I feel, coming our way.
Oh, Stefan McCartan was absolutely unbelievable in my ears tonight. Like the strategy calls, like everything. Obviously OPR, them in the corner. Gamma Flare as well, Modesec of course. And yeah, that's all.
Right. All right. Go back, celebrate with the boys, go fist pump. You can finally go and take a break, take a breather, and I bet the nerves have finally killed off and enjoy the rest of the night, brother. Enjoy.
Thanks, boys.
Righto, 1 step further up the podium, and Mr. Sandman's got Damon Woods in his corner.
Yeah, Damon, mate, absolutely wild conditions tonight with the weather playing its part. But, mate, you had a heck of a battle yourself and Jared Philsell really taking it to each other at the end. Tell us about your night, mate. Started off P2 and led quite a chunk of this race too.
Yeah, I mean, our car was really quick when it was torrential rain, and that showed. I was able to pull a gap across Jared and even some of the other Lobs guys as well. So that was really positive. And then it started to dry out, and I think I missed the cue a little bit on line choice, and then I think it was quite evident that the dock wasn't where it needed to be for those intermediate conditions. But still made it work. I think we still had the pace to realistically win that race. Well, I guess I'll leave the topic about track limits to the stewards and all that, but feel a little bit hard done by there. But said that's not up to me to decide. But yeah, for me, it was a good way to rebound after a pretty shocking start to the season.
I know you don't want to talk about the limits, so we won't touch on that, but that's still under investigation. We haven't heard anything from the stewards as yet. So, but yeah, it's always tough, isn't it? But these conditions, I mean, it's a big enough challenge as it is just getting it home. You know, you see the amount of spray that people have to contend with, the puddles on the racetrack, and then you got places like Eau Rouge, and they're hard enough to get through in the dry as it is, and then you got these conditions to deal with. So regardless of the result, you still must be pretty happy with yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty much hard practicing the rain, so I was hoping that it was going to bucket down, and it did. So that practice paid off. I think if it was dry, I would have been definitely probably buried in the bottom of the top 10. But yeah, the conditions for me, I felt easier to drive in the wet. I felt more comfortable with how the car was driving. It was a bit more like a go-kart, which is what I'm used to driving in the rain. So yeah, kind of tip in on the front wheel and wait for it to rotate. So yeah, I think the conditions suited me, and I think a few of the other guys as well. But I think it still made for great racing, which is always good to see.
And a good points day too, mate. No, don't have to sugarcoat that. Being P2, that's always a good day. So, you know, that's always handy. And then we're not too far away from endurance races too. So that's only just around the corner. Are you excited about that?
Well, hopefully I can bag some points in the Enduros. That kind of saved my season last year. So hopefully it can, you know, bring back the deficit that I've got at the moment. After, like I said, some pretty shocking driving from myself at the start of the season. But yeah, I think hopefully the combination that I have for Enduros is going to be very strong, and I know the Eclipse boys are going to help me out a lot with setup as well. So yeah, we'll see where we end up, but we'll try and ride this momentum now.
Mate, before we let you go, there's obviously people you want to shout out to, so the floor is yours, my friend.
Big thanks to the Eclipse boys. They've helped out a lot with setup, specifically Zach. And then big thanks to Door Esports as well, iLiveries, P1 Docs, NGK Sparkle Plugs, SX Group, NTK, and JBL, and obviously you guys in the booth as well. So big ups, and we'll see you for the next one.
Cheers, mate. Congratulations on tonight. Great drive, and in these conditions, it's always tricky, but you did a really great job, and look forward to catch up in the next round, buddy. All the best.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
There you go, Scotty. So great drive, and now you've caught up with our race winner for round number 3, Jared Filsell.
Well, the heavens opened at the start of the race, challenging conditions, but obviously just trying to put that lap together. The track came and went throughout qualifying, Jack. That looked like it was very, very difficult to read where the pace was coming and going out of the track. And Damon just said to us that line changed a whole bunch of times throughout tonight's proceedings. So I think a challenging race, no matter how you put it together. But you know, starting off with qualifying and being challenged, overtaking to do, and a car setup balance that came and went with the rain as well. Challenging night, however you cut it.
Quali was difficult. We didn't do any quali prep whatsoever. It definitely showed. The car was very average. The track had a little golden moment there at the start where it was not too wet, and then it bucketed down, and then it got better at the end. But yeah, the car just wasn't in the window to be consistent enough towards the end of the session there. So just park it early and get ready for the race.
Mate, in terms of championship, obviously, fair bit of contact and everything that happened back at Road Atlanta. We didn't get an opportunity to chat to you on that occasion. Is it fair to say you probably picked up a few rivals early on in the season, guys that are challenging? I'm not even going to touch on the stewarding and that sort of side of things, but we're seeing a little bit more contact made this year. And you, over the last couple of years, have sort of relished in that sort of a situation. You're not too phased by it, but that level has certainly come to you guys, and the challenge is being thrown down at the moment.
Yeah. I'm all about hard racing. If you want to give it out, you got to take it back too. So that's both ends of the stick there. So sometimes you get made to look like the bad guy, but yeah, that's racing.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Like, it's so easy in this Australian hemisphere. Fair to say you've probably been painted as the villain over the last couple of years and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we are in a contact sport. That's part and parcel of what happens. But at the moment, car pace is looking good. We're off to a track we haven't raced at in this series. And that's our last sort of shoot up before we get into the Enduros. A change in the way the calendar is put together, but you guys have had pretty consistent partnerships for the Endurance calendar over the last couple of years. I don't think too much is going to change. Brody's probably the target driver for you at the moment. Is there any shifting in that camp?
Yeah, we'll have to scrounge together someone for Brad, obviously. Not sure about Thomas yet, but yeah, they should be pretty consistent pairings from what we've seen throughout the previous years. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to Enduros. It's a bit odd being quite early, but with my current situation with work, I'm all for it, because if it was last year, I probably wouldn't be able to partake in the Enduros, so I'd be Narnia in the championship. So this helps out a lot for my championship.
Finally, mate, obviously the floor is all yours to thank sponsors and shout outs and whatnot, but I do just want to ask you, how much fun are you having at the moment with the elbows? Are you enjoying it more or less than the last couple of years?
You can't complain when you have no contact and you win. It definitely is more fun when you have a closer race like tonight with Damon. Yeah, some of those tracks though, like last round, that it doesn't really promote a lot of clean racing. You have to bomb to be anywhere near anyone, so it's just part and parcel. And a track where you can't actually get a move done cleanly, of course there's going to be contact, and then the stewards get involved, and then it gets all messy. And yeah, I'd rather sort it out in the racetrack than in the stewards room, that's for sure. Yep,
no worries, brother. Who would you like to give a thank you and a shout out tonight?
Obviously Paulie from OG Sim Gear. He's been a big supporter of mine and the boys for a while now, so big shout out to him. And obviously Brody for jumping on. He jumped on late tonight, and then there was a Discord meltdown. I don't know what was going on. I couldn't really hear him, but yeah, thanks to him for jumping on, and all the guys for putting in, mind you, lack of prep for this round. Not really a lot done on our end, but we still managed to put something competitive together. Nice to see Thomas finish in the top 10 as well. It's a cool result for him. So yeah, just shout out to all the guys that get the job done at Lobs.
Mate, congratulations, another race win, and enjoy the chatter and the banter that goes on afterwards. I know how much of a party you guys have over there.
Yeah, thank you.
Righto, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring a close to proceedings here from the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. When the heavens opened, the racing got interesting, the car balance came and went. You heard from the drivers. And that was the big thing for me, Sandman. Balance for some teams, stronger car in better conditions, stronger car in wetter conditions. Mate, that challenged us. If we get... Mexico City, I don't think it's going to rain. It's generally pretty well put together at Mexico City. Very, very few and far between when those heavens open. But we've seen it, and I think the mountain, really, Bathurst, more rain in the middle of the year for me at Bathurst tends to be a thing that happens. We just haven't gone racing when the heavens have opened there historically, which is, in October.
Absolutely, and the weather conditions playing to some drivers that they prefer, that could be in their wheelhouse. They really enjoy that part. Some people set up setup might change, varied for a drier race, more to a wetter race. So many variables, but certainly a lot forward to as we round out this season. It's already been a cracker, and it's only round number 3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on track limits penalties? Have your say over on the socials. We want to hear from you. I'm not going to post over there to discuss things, because there's always differing viewpoints. The next time out for the Porsche Cup Series is on the 27th of May. I'll be back behind the steering wheel from Germany. We've just had the Nürburgring 24-hour Porsche Cups were in action back there. It was challenging in challenging conditions on those occasions. What is it going to bring up to us here from the ASRG Porsche Pro Invitational? But that's not the only racing we've got to look forward to. Next week on the Australian Sim Racing Group, we have round number 5 from Linear National Speedway. Things continue to get slideways. What have Tanner Pettit Racing got for Tim Ryan and all the crew? It has been elbows out thus far. Is somebody going to finally put a challenge to those guys at the top end of the field? Last season was very challenging in terms of consistency for a number of drivers, not so in 2026. Then we are back in action for the Logitech V8 Pro Invitational Series, Mexico City, and its first time of asking in this series. What kind of racing is it going to give us? Wednesday, the 3rd of June, the final shootout before we get into the Phillip Island 500, the Sandown 500, and the Bathurst 1000. For the first time in winter in this series, what are driver pairings going to look like? A lot of teams are going to be challenged to get their combinations done and sorted earlier on in the season. And the heavens tonight, Sandman, they opened. They gave us a challenging track, challenging visibility, and challenging racing standards. Mate, I wonder what the chat is going to be like in your team over at Trans-Tasman Racing, because there is going to be beef. I don't think there is any way you can get around that. But managing that is part of managing race car drivers.
Yeah, that's it. It's all good hard racing. There was no intention there, obviously, and there never is. Everyone enjoys splashing in puddles, though, so it was good fun. But bring on the next round. I already can't wait.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from everyone here at the Australian Sim Racing Group, from myself, from Sandman, from the man behind the scenes pulling all the buttons and pressing all the triggers and the voice in our heads, from Jay Kennedy as well, ladies and gents, Logitech V8 Pro Invitational, this has been your Spa race, and boy, have we got talking points. Next time out in Mexico City, perhaps the altitude will change some of that. We'll see you then.
You've always felt it. That spark, that pull. Watching the greats carve through history. Every turn, risk, reward. Now you don't just watch. You step inside. You take the wheel. Together, we're breaking barriers between sim and sport. Setting a new standard for performance. So with the power in your palms, the roar in your ears, and the position of a pro, let's turn dream to drive and play to podium. Our legacy, now yours. Welcome to the grid.
Hi, I'm Jano Jada. I currently race GT3 in Australia. It's a cool brand. The socks and the gloves are quite cool, and it's good to use on the sim. High quality materials, and most importantly, comfortable. Quite cool to feel all the bits doing their job, and that's good.